Chapter 1886. The Sky Desolate War Halberd was too heavy. Knight Sorrow felt that if he hadn't cultivated his body, he wouldn't have been able to lift it at all. He couldn't estimate how heavy it was. Knight Sorrow ran in front while Emotianji chased from behind. Emotianji's speed was too fast. Even after using Void Step, Knight Sorrow was barely able to maintain his distance. "Captain, let's just kill her." Long Jean appeared and returned to the clear sky godly pagoda after a palm strike. "Run first. Don't come out. This woman isn't that easy to kill." Knight Sorrow communicated with Long Jean. Long Jean appeared to attack. He wanted to give Long Jean time to return to the clear sky godly pagoda. This would delay their escape. "Captain, you know her?" Long Jean asked. "She's the Emotianji I mentioned to you. She didn't possess the Emperor's body. She fused with it," Knight Sorrow said to Long Jean. Long Jean didn't say anything. He didn't expect Knight Sorrow to be right. Emotianji was one of the three great heavens of the Demon Wing clan. She had lived for countless years. Whether it was combat experience, combat strength, or life experience, they couldn't compare to her. Kill. It definitely wasn't that easy to kill. "Little brat, it's your bad luck to meet me. Let's see if you can run away today." Emotianji was very excited because everything was in front of her. As long as she dealt with Knight Sorrow, she would have the opportunity to rise again. She could also take back the fate of the Demon Wing clan. "You're too arrogant. A woman who can't even control her body dares to say anything?" Long Jean provoked Emotianji as Knight Sorrow ran. "What nonsense are you talking about?" Emotianji retorted when she heard Long Jin's voice. "Isn't your original body in the hands of our captain, the little cub you speak of, Yishang? Then wouldn't our captain be able to touch and play with her however she wanted? So what right do you have to be arrogant?" After Long Jin's voice came out, Knight Sorrow's breathing became difficult, let alone Emotianji. Long Jin's words were too vicious. Emotianji was one of the founders of the Demon Wing clan civilization. Long Jin's words were no different from stabbing her in the heart. "Knight Sorrow, I will make you beg for death." Emotianji was infuriated because she felt that this kind of situation was truly possible. If her body had truly been desecrated, she would have felt it and known. However, if it was just a touch, she still wouldn't know. Moreover, she felt that it was very possible. In her impression, Knight Sorrow wasn't a good person. So excited. Knight Sorrow noticed that Emotianji's aura was unstable, which affected her speed. He did not try to defend himself against the dirty water that Long Jean had splashed on him, because it was very harmful to Emotianji. "Little brat." Emotianji didn't know how to vent her anger. The 3,000 feet long white hair attacked Knight Sorrow's back. However, the distance between them wasn't within her attack range. Her attacks all landed behind Knight Sorrow. Her thighs are very white and that's also very big. Seeing that it was effective, Knight Sorrow also started a verbal battle. Emotianji was too vicious. He had no choice but to play along with Long Jin's words and use psychological warfare. Emotianji stopped cursing. She used her domain to increase her speed. Her white hair tore through space and whipped towards Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow also used his domain to increase his speed and increase the distance between them. However, he was still very close to Emotianji's attack range. The distance between them was less than 3,000 feet. However, Emotianji's white hair needed time to fly. Attacking Knight Sorrow, who was flying at extreme speed, the attack range of the 3,000 feet white hair was only half of that. "Captain, how does it feel to touch one of the three great heavens of the Demon Wing clan?" Long Jean was very naughty. He realized that Emotianji was hitting where it hurt. That goes without saying. "Ha." Knight Sorrow was now confident. Emotianji's speed was almost the same as his. It wouldn't be easy for her to catch up to him. After running for a while, Knight Sorrow's clone appeared. Then he switched places with his original body and carried the Sky Desolate War Halberd. His original body entered the Haotian Godly Pagoda to rest. He had to be in peak condition at all times. Knight Sorrow's original body and clone switched places to rest. Emotianji couldn't switch places. She didn't have a clone. "This woman is too vicious." She rushed all the way to where we found the Sky Desolate War Halberd. She didn't rest or recover. If she was in peak condition, we would be in a dire situation. Night Sorrow greeted Long Jin and entered the area where time was 50 times faster to recover. Seeing Night Sorrow's original body and clone switch places, Mo Tianji's beautiful eyes flashed. She was extremely annoyed. Night Sorrow was too infuriating. If it was in the past, she could deal with Night Sorrow with just a strand of her hair, let alone a finger. Even now, if she was in peak condition, it wouldn't be a problem. In order to make the best use of time, she flew all the way. The energy in her body was less than 50% of her usual. In the chase, the two left the battlefield of Broken Sky Mountain. The void purple light snake also appeared. Night Sorrow used his virtuous domain to suppress the void purple light snake. After the void purple light snake couldn't attack him, he continued to run. Mo Tianji couldn't take it anymore. She retracted her white hair that was attacking Night Sorrow from time to time, and formed a protective cocoon to block the void purple light snake's attacks. Under such circumstances, her speed slowed down. However, Night Sorrow's speed didn't change. The gap between the two began to widen. Alexier knew fastest. Alexier Night Sorrow, when I catch you, I'll bite you to death to relieve the hatred in my heart. Mo Tianji cursed as she chased. Hurry up and take back what you just said. I've refined 2 clones, and 1 is outside. If you treat me like this, I'm going to do something to your body. If it's now, can you still chase me so hard? Yishan shouted at Mo Tianji, who was trying to intimidate him. Don't forget your promise to the Devil Wing clan. Did you take those resources for nothing? Mo Tianji was furious. What kind of situation is this? You're telling me this? Besides, how did I negotiate with that idiot from your Devil Wing clan? I promised you that I wouldn't give your body to anyone else. Listen carefully, I won't give it to anyone else. So no matter what I want to do, I won't go back on my promise, Night Sorrow shouted. 2 clones? Are you trying to scare me, Mo Tianji? Mo Tianji's soul power supported the energy in her body. She maintained her speed to keep up with Night Sorrow and not be left behind. How can I prove it? Then I'll have to test your body. You'll feel it, Night Sorrow said. At this time, Night Sorrow's 9 clones were in the space below Sealed Sky God Tower. If he could scare Mo Tianji away, that would be the best result. Of course, Yishan couldn't do such a blasphemy. He looked at Mo Tianji's body, which seemed to be sleeping soundly. Night Sorrow reached out and grabbed a white thread. He pulled, but the result was different from what Night Sorrow expected. He didn't break it at all. Chapter 1887. Ah, little brat, stop right now. Mo Tianji screamed at Night Sorrow. 3,000 feet white hair was one of her talents. If a strand of her hair was pulled off, her soul would naturally feel it. If you keep chasing, I will rip off your clothes. Don't think I am a petty person. You are an old demon from the Demon Wing clan. I can do anything to protect myself. Night Sorrow threatened Mo Tianji. Mo Tianji stopped. She really didn't dare to continue chasing because she knew that Yishang still had a clone outside. In order to survive and attack her, it was possible that he would do anything. Not bad. Don't chase. Night Sorrow carried the Sky Baron war halberd and continued running. Seeing Night Sorrow's straight body under the Sky Baron war halberd, Mo Tianji felt that Night Sorrow was her nemesis. As long as she fought against Night Sorrow, she would definitely be at a disadvantage. Seeing Night Sorrow disappear, Mo Tianji entered her spatial treasure to recover. She was in a bad state and couldn't do anything. She knew this very well. Mo Tianji recovered from the time acceleration and continued to fly towards the area she sensed. At this moment, her mind was filled with Night Sorrow. When she thought of Night Sorrow's domain of golden light, Mo Tianji bit her lips. She knew she had been tricked. That was the power of merits. Back then, Night Sorrow also used his power of merits to help Yin Wushuang trick her. Mo Tianji estimated that Night Sorrow's power of merits was at the peak of the Emperor level. It was not easy to obtain this power of merits. It was the recognition of the heavenly Tao. There were some things he wouldn't do. Mo Tianji was very angry. She felt that being forced to retreat by a little brat was a deep humiliation. If she didn't deal with Night Sorrow, then Night Sorrow would become her heart demon that could never be removed. Night Sorrow carried the Sky Baron war halberd and ran. He was also dizzy because he couldn't put it away no matter what he did. Long Jean, help me think of a way. Night Sorrow said to Long Jean. I will help you hold it for a while. Long Jean appeared in Night Sorrow's domain and carried the Sky Baron war halberd. Holding the Sky Baron war halberd, Long Jean staggered. What is this thing? You should carry it yourself. I can carry it, but I don't have the speed. Night Sorrow had no choice but to continue running while carrying the halberd. He didn't know how to put it away. If he didn't put it away, then the danger would always be there. The reason was very simple. If Mo Tianji could find the Sky Wasteland combat halberd, then it was very likely that she was related to it. If he didn't put it away, then he would be constantly hunted down by Mo Tianji. Night Sorrow's 9-domain doppelganger found Lin Piaomiao and asked her to ask the Grand Elder and the others how to resolve this matter. When he came, no one told him. King Yawu, the mayor and the Grand Elder, who had not left the Heavenly Wasteland City, were very happy when they heard this because Night Sorrow had succeeded. K0 Y Yong 4 5 Free F Phi caret look at RZ small. Sayan Piaomiao, we all know that space treasures of the same level can't accommodate each other. This principle is also applicable in other places. The Sky Baron war halberd is the most precious treasure of the Demon Wing clan. It's the weapon of destiny of the Demon Wing clan. If it isn't refined, no space treasure can contain it. The mayor said. Night Sorrow didn't have time to study or refine it. Mo Tianji is chasing him. He said that the halberd is extremely heavy. Lin Piaomiao was a little anxious. I thought that after countless years, the Sky Baron war halberd was just a weapon. Even if the Demon Wing clan took it back, they would have to use the destiny of the entire clan to nourish it. Our people can also take it. But the situation is different from what we expected. The Sky Baron war halberd is still the same weapon. Tell Night Sorrow that his own safety is the most important thing. If he can't use the Sky Baron war halberd, then throw it away. The mayor said. Throw away the Sky Baron war halberd? Isn't that too regretful? The Grand Elder said unwillingly. The weapon of destiny of the Demon Wing clan isn't that easy to take. If Night Sorrow was an emperor and a cultivator of the 9 emperors' trials of the heavenly Tao, he might be able to handle it if he had time. But now that he has it, it's a crisis. King Yawu said. Let's do that. Piaomiao, tell Night Sorrow to throw it away if he can't use it. The mayor made the decision. Lin Piaomiao left the Sky Baron city and returned to the 9 regions world. She told Night Sorrow's clone about the mayor, King Yawu, and the Grand Elder's decision. Throw it away? No way. I spent so much effort and ran so far with it. Now you want me to throw it away? Let the Demon Wing clan take it back? Absolutely not. Night Sorrow was unwilling. He didn't want the Demon Wing clan to take back the Sky Baron war halberd. In the reincarnation battlefield, Night Sorrow's clone was still running with the Sky Baron war halberd. The original body in the Haotian Godly Pagoda was also discussing countermeasures with Long Jean. We can't throw it away. It's obviously something good. After hearing the mayor, King Yawu, and the Grand Elder's decision, Long Jean was also unwilling. We definitely won't throw it away. Even if we run with Mo Tianji for 2 years, we won't throw it away. Night Sorrow's attitude was also very firm. Captain, maybe that woman was scared by us and stopped chasing us. Long Jean said. Impossible. She'll definitely chase after us. She might even attack us from the shadows. She's the 3rd Grand Heaven of the Demon Wing clan. She was once one of the strongest experts of the Demon Wing clan. Her will is very strong. She's not someone we can destroy with just a few words. Yishan shook his head. You can't really do anything to her body. This is indeed a problem. Long Jean understood Night Sorrow and knew that there were some things that Night Sorrow wouldn't do. Yes. If you can think of it, how can that smart and cunning woman not think of it? So the 2 of us are now in danger. Night Sorrow said. Then we'll study it while running. We'll prepare to play with her for 2 years. Long Jean was also a ruthless person. His will was also very firm. Then we won't leave Broken Sky Mountain. My light of virtue can suppress the void purple light snake, so I have an advantage over her. When my original body refines it, my doppelganger will be on guard with you. When she appears, we'll fight. If we can't win, we'll run. Running away is not a problem. Then we'll find a place to refine it. Night Sorrow spoke his thoughts. Haha. I like this tactic. Let's begin. Long Jean said with a smile. After finding a place without the void purple light snake, Night Sorrow released the Haotian godly pagoda. His original body sat at the top of the pagoda and studied the sky desolation halberd in time acceleration. His doppelganger and Long Jean were on guard. When the void purple light snake appeared, Night Sorrow released his light of virtue domain. Then he and Long Jean began to kill it. Night Sorrow placed the sky desolation halberd on his legs and held the human emperor's seal in his left hand. He activated the fire of virtue and rushed towards the sky desolation halberd. Mo Tianji, who was flying according to the guidance of the demon ancestor's hair on her finger, realized that her target was not moving. She increased her speed. Originally, she thought that Night Sorrow couldn't put away the sky desolation halberd. He would either abandon it or continue to run. He shouldn't stop. Chapter 1888. In order to deal with the Sky Wasteland War halberd as soon as possible, Night Sorrow sent his virtuous fire and soul power into the Sky Wasteland War halberd. Black energy. The Sky Wasteland War halberd was filled with black destructive energy. The black destructive energy was extremely violent as it resisted Night Sorrow's soul power and virtuous fire. WMost #= new chapter by Night Sorrow controlled the virtuous fire and started refining the destructive energy within the Sky Wasteland War halberd. In order to refine a magic treasure or weapon, the first step was to obliterate all other auras within the magic treasure or weapon. When the magic treasure or weapon was completely permeated and contaminated with one's own aura, the refinement of the magic treasure or weapon would be complete. Under the Haotian godly pagoda's time acceleration, Night Sorrow's virtuous fire and soul power continued to battle with the energy within the Sky Wasteland War halberd. As time passed, Night Sorrow and Long Jin's alertness increased. The more time passed, the higher the possibility of Mo Tianji getting closer. 6 hours had passed in the real world, but Night Sorrow's main body had refined it for more than 7 days. Night Sorrow decided to leave. The longer he stayed, the more dangerous it would be. Night Sorrow's doppelganger and main body switched places. He put Long Jean into the Haotian godly pagoda, and his doppelganger carried the Sky Wasteland War halberd and started running. As soon as Night Sorrow started running, Mo Tianji, who had been slowly moving within the spatial magic treasure, could not wait any longer. She could only attack. She was very angry. Just a little bit more. If she had a little more time, she would have been able to get closer and deal a heavy blow to Yi Shang. But because of Yi Shang's sudden decision, her plan was disrupted. Seeing Mo Tianji appear, Night Sorrow released his domain. With the support of his domain, he used the void step to dodge Mo Tianji's fluttering white hair attack and ran. Little brat, I used up a lot of energy last time and could not catch up to you. Let's see how you're going to run this time. Although she had lost the best chance to launch a sneak attack, Mo Tianji was still very confident. You think too much. I don't care if you used up a lot or not. Night Sorrow's doppelganger took out the Blood Qilin evil slaying spear and used the Void Extreme Kill to break the spatial barrier. He did not slow down at all as he charged into the spatial turbulence. And supported by his domain to the maximum, he flew into the spatial magic treasure. Mo Tianji had peak monarch cultivation. With her cultivation peak monarch cultivation and an even higher realm cultivation, she was a monarch realm monarch. And a peak monarch realm monarch. Yi. And Yi. Could attacks. With was hers. Why did Night Sorrow enter the spatial turbulence? It was because he heard Mo Tianji's words. Last time, he could not catch up because he used up a lot of energy. This time he did not use up any energy. Captain, leaving is a life-saving decision. If we left a little later, and this woman came closer to launch a sneak attack, we would not be able to stop her. Long Jean, who was in the Haotian godly pagoda, said. He had seen the power of Mo Tianji's white hair. It was too terrifying. Night Sorrow's real body, who was standing beside Long Jean, took a sip of wine. I knew something was wrong. So this woman was hiding in the dark. She wants to bite us. Night Sorrow's real body refined the Sky Wasteland War Halberd. He used his power of virtue to activate the human emperor's seal. He continued to refine it. His consumption was also replenished. Being targeted by a woman like her is scarier than having a thorn in one's back. Longjin nodded. He knew that if there was a monarch realm monarch who could fight against Mo Tianji, it would be Night Sorrow. But the others had no power to resist. He Longjin could not outscheme Mo Tianji. He could fight, but he could not maintain it for long. Mo Tianji's realm combined with her monarch energy cultivation allowed her to display the fighting strength of a high-class emperor. Night Sorrow ran for a while before a void purple light snake appeared in the chaotic void. The void purple light snake was a void creature, so the spatial barrier was nothing to them. Whether it was the real world or the spatial turbulence, the void purple light snake would occupy it. Once the void purple light snake got close to Night Sorrow's light of virtue domain, its speed would be suppressed. Night Sorrow could use void step to dodge and continue flying. Mo Tianji was powerful, but she did not have this advantage. She could only fly with her white hair wrapped around her body. This slowed her down and consumed more energy. The distance between her and Night Sorrow grew. Hey, arrogant woman, who do you want to bite to death? Why don't you try biting? Seeing that they were safe, Longjin began to verbally attack Mo Tianji. Night Sorrow, I will catch up to you and bite you to death. Mo Tianji roared angrily. You can't even bite the captain's private part. Without needing Night Sorrow to reply, Longjin retorted. I will definitely bite. Mo Tianji was so angry that she spoke without thinking. Mo Tianji, you won't even let a man's private part go. Longjin laughed loudly and passed through the clear sky divine pagoda. Mo Tianji's white face filled with anger turned red. She did not expect to fall into Longjin's trap. Unable to verbally attack, Mo Tianji did not say anything and just chased. Once she caught up, all verbal attacks were useless. In the chaotic void, Night Sorrow and Mo Tianji were both extremely fast. However, Mo Tianji slowly fell behind because she had to defend against the void purple light snake while Night Sorrow did not. Also, she was using up a lot of energy. Mo Tianji stopped chasing. She knew that it was Night Sorrow's clone who was flying with the Sky Desolate War Halberd. Night Sorrow's main body was still in good condition. After switching, she could not catch up even if she wanted to. In addition, Mo Tianji was not afraid that Night Sorrow would get lost. With the connection between the Sky Desolate War Halberd and the Devil Ancestor's hair, she could find Night Sorrow at any time as long as she did not give Night Sorrow time. Mo Tianji stopped chasing. Night Sorrow tore through space and returned to the real world to run. However, he used his main body. His clone was using up a lot of energy. Captain, this woman is too scary. If I get caught, she will at most kill me. But she will really bite your private part. Longjin and Night Sorrow returned to the clear sky divine pagoda and communicated with their clones. This fight shows that we can still run away from her. However, we must be careful when refining, Night Sorrow said. Then Longjin suggested that Night Sorrow should refine the Sky Desolate War Halberd. The more time they had, the better. He would fight for that time. Longjin meant to go to the outskirts of Broken Sky Mountain where there were no void purple light snakes. Then his main body would appear and fly with Night Sorrow and the clear sky divine pagoda. If Mo Tianji wanted to get close, she would have to keep flying. She would not be able to recover to her peak state. But have you ever thought about how heavy the Sky Desolate War Halberd is? Even if my main body was refining it at the top of the clear sky divine pagoda, you would still have to bear the weight, Night Sorrow said. Chapter 1889. If you can withstand it, then it's not a bad idea. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and felt that it was feasible. After the doppelganger recovered, Night Sorrow's original body and doppelganger switched places again. The doppelganger carried the Sky Desolation Halberd and flew to the edge of Broken Sky Mountain. This was also the time for the original body to recover, because the original body's soul power was the most effective when refining treasures. After leaving the void purple light snake's area, Longjin appeared and turned into a 3,000-meter-long golden dragon. Night Sorrow's doppelganger entered the Haotian godly pagoda, which was 50 times faster to recover. His original body placed the Haotian godly pagoda between the two strongest front claws on Long Jin's back. He went to the top of the Haotian godly pagoda and began to speed up the refining process. After leaving the void turbulence and recovering, Mo Tianji realized something was wrong. The red hair on her finger was flashing chaotically and was not stable enough. This meant that Night Sorrow had not stopped. Mo Tianji flew in the direction the hair was pointing, but after flying for a long time, she still could not find any trace of Night Sorrow and Long Jin. She was puzzled because there was only one possibility in this situation. Night Sorrow had not stopped. In fact, Night Sorrow and Long Jin had not stopped. Long Jin had used up a lot of energy. Night Sorrow's doppelganger appeared and flew with the Haotian godly pagoda. While Night Sorrow's doppelganger was flying, Long Jin recovered in the Haotian godly pagoda's space, which was 50 times faster. Then the two of them switched places. Long Jin suggested to Night Sorrow that they should go and pick up his original body. This way, the two of them would have less pressure and could fly continuously without any problems. But if you leave, the team will not be safe enough. If a void purple light snake appears, it will be fatal. Night Sorrow was worried about the team's safety. Tianyu's strength has increased recently. He should be safe with his people hiding in a spatial treasure. Otherwise we should bring everyone, Long Jin said. Night Sorrow shook his head, and did not plan to bring his team with him because it was too dangerous. Mo Tianji was not an ordinary person. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow asked Long Jin to test Tianyu's strength, to see if Tianyu could fly while carrying the Sky Wasteland halberd. After receiving a positive reply, Night Sorrow asked Long Jin to continue staying with the team while informing Tianyu's clone to wait at the designated area. Then he and Long Jin continued to fly. They were going to circle around Broken Sky Mountain before picking up Tianyu's clone. Night Sorrow would not let Long Jin and Tianyu's main bodies take the risk. Long Jin thought for a moment and didn't insist on sending his own body. He knew that Night Sorrow was thinking for him. Night Sorrow and Long Jin flew at a stable speed while Night Sorrow's main body controlled the fire of virtue and soul power to refine the black destructive energy in the Sky Wasteland halberd. The city lord and King Yawu were worried about Night Sorrow and asked Lin Piaomiao about Night Sorrow's situation many times. After learning about Night Sorrow's decision and the current situation, they were both surprised and worried. They were worried about Night Sorrow's safety and surprised that Night Sorrow could keep the Sky Wasteland halberd. Everyone knew what kind of person Mo Tianji was. Even if she was an emperor, killing an emperor was as easy as flipping her hand. Now she was fooled by Night Sorrow's strategy, which showed Night Sorrow's ability. "This kid is too stubborn," the Grand Elder said. "Without a strong personality and independent thinking, how can he become the Merit Emperor? Our opinion is just whether he will take the suggestion or not," the city lord said. "Piaomiao, it seems very stable now, but there is still a big crisis, or rather an unstable factor," the city lord said. Then the city lord, who was also Tran Hung, said a possibility that shocked Lin Piaomiao. The Sky Wasteland halberd might contain the soul power of the demon ancestor. _PW, the demon ancestor was the top expert of the demon race in the last reincarnation. He was on par with the human emperor of the celestial realm. If his soul power exists, how can Night Sorrow deal with it? Lin Piaomiao was a bit anxious because this was a real crisis. It's not that scary. The demon ancestor has been in a deep sleep for 8 eras. This means that his soul was destroyed by the human emperor. Deep sleep is just a saying. His soul might have been destroyed. Whether or not the Sky Wasteland halberd has his soul power is another matter. Even if it does, it won't be very strong. If it returned to his body so early, he might have already woken up. If it didn't return, it means that even if the demon ancestor's soul power exists, it's a very weak soul fragment. Without a body, the demon ancestor's soul power is like a rootless duckweed. I'm telling you this so that you can remind Night Sorrow to be vigilant. His soul needs to be protected at all times, the city lord said. Night Sorrow was shocked when he heard this news from Lin Piaomiao. This news was too frightening. Mo Tianji used to be a soul body. How terrifying was she now? If the demon ancestor still had his soul power, it would be terrible. Then Lin Piaomiao told Night Sorrow some of the city lord's estimates. Only then did he feel more at ease. Emotianji kept flying but couldn't catch up with Night Sorrow. She understood that Night Sorrow didn't stop and kept flying. She was very annoyed. How could she attack Night Sorrow if she couldn't catch him? This situation also made Emotianji understand that some opportunities only came once. It was fleeting. After chasing for half a month, Emotianji cursed because she found that Night Sorrow and she were going in circles around Broken Mountain. But so what? The idea of waiting for him didn't work. Night Sorrow was going in circles, but it was hundreds of thousands of miles away from the original route. How could she wait for him? Emotianji decided to find a team first, and then think of a way to intercept Night Sorrow once. It was too difficult to get rid of Night Sorrow in one go and catch Night Sorrow. The same opportunity wouldn't appear twice. After circling around Broken Mountain, Night Sorrow and Longjin picked up Tianyu's clone. With the three brothers together, Night Sorrow was relaxed. His original body continued to refine the halberd while his clone was in peak condition, ready to deal with any possible battle. Emotianji brought the Demon-Winged Clan's team to her side. At the same time, she estimated where Night Sorrow might appear. She knew very well that Night Sorrow wouldn't give up on Broken Mountain, because the Void Purple Light Snake was a protective talisman that Night Sorrow used to stop her. On the other side of Broken Mountain, Night Sorrow asked Tianyu to stop in a safe area. After setting up an illusion array, he made a teleportation array disc. After flying for thousands of miles, Night Sorrow asked Longjin, who had replaced Tianyu, to stop. He set up a large illusion array and asked Longjin and Tianyu to rest. "Captain, it's safer to keep flying," Tianyu asked. "We're on our second round now. That cunning woman might not keep chasing us. She might be waiting somewhere. If we keep running, we'll be passive and let her catch up. Then we'll take the teleportation array and run. We'll play like this in the future and tire that cunning woman to death," Night Sorrow said. Chapter 1890. That's just a joke. We need to be careful. It's only been half a month. We need to recover enough energy to fight her. She's much stronger than us, so we need to cultivate. If she comes, we'll run. Also, I have a battle technique that I forgot to use before, Night Sorrow said. "What battle technique?" Tianyu asked. "It's when I place my soul power on the opponent. As long as the opponent doesn't notice it, I can always find the opponent's location," Night Sorrow said. Longjin and Tianyu's eyes brightened. This was a good idea. As long as they knew where Emotianji was and whether she was close to them, they would be much safer. Start. Night Sorrow's original body had been refining the Sky Baron battle halberd. Although the results were not ideal, he was not in a hurry. As long as he had the Sky Baron battle halberd, he could slowly refine it. In the process of refining the Sky Baron battle halberd, Night Sorrow did not forget to cultivate. The sky above Broken Mountain was filled with flickering energy whirlpools. The power of heaven and earth was also very strong. Night Sorrow would not give up such an opportunity. Besides, time was very important to him. If he could cultivate to 6-star Imperial Emperor, the gap between him and Emotianji would be smaller. All this time, Night Sorrow felt that he could fight someone stronger than him. However, it was unrealistic for him to do so in front of Emotianji. Emotianji was above the tribulation of 7 emperors. Her comprehension of the power of heaven and earth completely suppressed him. The energy in her body was also much stronger than his. On the other side of Broken Mountain, Emotianji frowned. The hair on her finger was still flashing, but it was much more stable. This meant that the Sky Baron battle halberd had not moved. Night Sorrow was still. Seeing that Night Sorrow was not moving, Emotianji knew that waiting was not enough. She had to go and catch him. Emotianji did not know where Night Sorrow was, but with the demon ancestor's hair guiding her, it was not difficult for her to find Night Sorrow. Emotianji put her subordinates into her spatial treasure, and then went to catch Night Sorrow according to the hair's guidance. Within the illusory array, Tianyu and Longjin were drinking wine. Their true bodies were with the team, cultivating within the array. Night Sorrow's main body was cultivating and refining the Sky Wasteland halberd at the top of the Clear Sky Pagoda, while his clone was cultivating his spear arts. As time passed, Emotianji got closer and closer to Night Sorrow and the other two. Emotianji was a bit excited. Night Sorrow not moving was her chance. If she could use this chance to get rid of Night Sorrow, then everything would be resolved. Mo Tianji sensed that she was getting closer and closer to the desolate sky halberd. She was especially careful as she advanced. As she investigated, Mo Tianji found the location of the illusion array. She didn't expect Night Sorrow to create an illusion array. After thinking for a while, she figured it out. Yan Wushuang was an array expert, and Night Sorrow, who had received his inheritance, was naturally proficient in array formations as well. Hiding in the spatial treasure, and using soul power to control the treasure to pass through the array was unrealistic. Any energy fluctuation within the array would be detected by Night Sorrow. After thinking for a while, Mo Tianji felt that she could only break through the array with brute force. Then, she would lead the team to surround Night Sorrow. This way, Night Sorrow wouldn't have a chance to escape. Mo Tianji spoke to the monarch of the Demon Wing clan in the spatial treasure. Then she appeared. After she appeared, her white hair danced in the wind as she attacked the illusion array. Night Sorrow noticed Mo Tianji's attack. His clone, who cultivated spear arts, was very alert. Night Sorrow immediately put Longjin and Tianyu into the Clear Sky Godly Scout. His main body put away the Clear Sky Godly Pagoda, and placed the Sky Wasteland halberd on his shoulder. Then, the original body and the doppelganger's soul power shot out toward Mo Tianji. After releasing the soul powers, Night Sorrow's clone and main body merged into one. Then he took out the array disc. Mo Tianji smashed the illusion array and charged towards Night Sorrow. At this moment, Night Sorrow's soul powers were like steel needles piercing towards Mo Tianji's body. You won't be able to escape today. Mo Tianji didn't care about Night Sorrow's soul power. This level of soul attack was trash in her eyes. It didn't affect her at all. Yi Shang's 2 vital strands of soul power, under the cover of a large amount of soul power, landed on the root of Mo Tianji's white hair near her neck, and the other pierced through the hem of her dress. You want to catch me? You need to have the ability first. I'm not playing with you anymore. Night Sorrow activated the teleportation array disc. Then his body started to blur and he disappeared from Mo Tianji's sight. When Mo Tianji's white hair whipped over, it hit nothing but air. Seeing Night Sorrow run away, Mo Tianji roared in anger. Her white hair swept across and shattered everything around her. Night Sorrow appeared from the teleportation array millions of miles away. Then he brought Longjin and Tianyu out as well. Captain, did you succeed? Longjin asked. I used a soul attack to cover up those 2 pure soul powers. She shouldn't have noticed. We need to keep running. After keeping a certain distance from her, I'll set up another teleportation array and illusion array. As he spoke, Night Sorrow tore down the teleportation array. After Night Sorrow packed up, Tianyu carried the Clear Sky Godly Pagoda and started flying. Night Sorrow's main body was still at the top of the Clear Sky Pagoda. He was refining the Sky Desolate War Halberd under the time acceleration. Tianyu and Longjin took turns flying. It didn't affect Night Sorrow's main body's refining and cultivation. After flying for 7 days, Night Sorrow set up an illusion array in a safe place. The illusion array hid the teleportation array that he tore down a few days ago. After flying for millions of miles, Night Sorrow brought Tianyu and Longjin to a stop. Night Sorrow's main body continued refining the Sky Desolate War Halberd while his doppelganger set up the teleportation array and illusion array. It's very exciting. We can take turns and she will be tired. Longjin said with a smile. Mo Tianji was furious that Night Sorrow ran away. However, she realized that Night Sorrow was very smart. He had already calculated everything. Night Sorrow was strong and good at escaping. He was also an array emperor teacher. It wouldn't be easy for her to capture him. However, she wouldn't give up. Mo Tianji even felt that Night Sorrow should be captured alive. If the Devil Wing clan could obtain Night Sorrow's bloodline, then their descendants would have a very high-grade bloodline. They might even surpass the Devil Wing clan. The Devil Wing clan wanted to prosper and never decline. They had been working hard. As they worked hard to improve themselves, they also improved their own bloodlines. The dragon-headed and snake-headed people were the products of bloodline evolution. However, these two were already failed products. Chapter 1891. If it was just Night Sorrow, Emo Tianji wouldn't be so worried. However, she knew very well that Night Sorrow had a clone outside the reincarnation battlefield that could communicate with human almighties. If there was really a way to refine the everlasting war halberd, or cut off the connection between her and the everlasting war halberd, it would be difficult for her to find Night Sorrow again. After Gong Zibai's team was blocked by the void purple light snake, they couldn't move forward. After being obstructed for a very long time, Gong Zongbai thought of a way. He captured quite a number of early-stage monarch-ranked dragon-headed men and snake-headed men. He wiped out their souls and used his soul power to control them. After that, he stored his subordinates into his spatial treasure. When the void purple light snake appeared, Gong Zibai used the bodies of the dragon-headed and snake-headed and dragon-headed to block it. Then he used energy to trigger a self-explosion. This way he could kill the void purple light snake. Night Sorrow's main body worked hard every day to refine the everlasting war halberd. Because he kept refining the destruction energy, Night Sorrow discovered that his destruction attribute power of heaven and earth was increasing rapidly. This was naturally a good thing. However, Night Sorrow didn't stabilize for long. On the 6th day, Emo Tianji approached the illusion array area. Because there were 2 soul powers on Emo Tianji knew when she got close to Night Sorrow. Unexpectedly, Emo Tianji noticed that something was wrong. When Emo Tianji was breaking the array, Night Sorrow took the array disk and ran away. This made Emo Tianji's thoughts and hopes go down the drain. Emo Tianji was very annoyed. Before she could use many of her backup plans, Night Sorrow took the teleportation array disk and ran away. After using the teleportation array disk to teleport tens of thousands of miles away, Night Sorrow dismantled the teleportation array. Tianyu took the Haotian godly pagoda and started flying. Tianyu was very fast. It was very easy for him to pull away from Emo Tianji. He could travel 3,000 miles in one strike and 90,000 miles in one go. Emo Tianji will think that we noticed her because she broke the formation. She won't think that you noticed her long ago. She won't think that something is wrong with her, said Long Jin. This is indeed a lot safer. We won't be ambushed by that cunning woman. Night Sorrow nodded. What was the scariest? Unknown danger was the scariest. If he couldn't discover Emo Tianji in advance, being ambushed by her would be a huge problem. Now, as long as Emo Tianji got close, Night Sorrow would be able to sense it, and the danger would be greatly reduced. The mayor, King Yawu, and the Grand Elder had been paying attention to Night Sorrow's situation. Night Sorrow also informed them of the situation through Lin Piaomiao. If someone else asked, Night Sorrow wouldn't bother to answer. However, the mayor had helped him twice. The first time was to solve the demon ancestor's soul problem and seal Emo Tianji. Night Sorrow was grateful. King Yawu was his martial uncle and cared about him a lot. In addition, the Grand Elder was a senior that he respected a lot and taught him a lot. Every time they heard from Lin Piaomiao that Night Sorrow was safe, the mayor and the other 2 were very happy. In their hearts, the Sky Desolate halberd was not as valuable as Night Sorrow. However, Night Sorrow didn't want to let go of the halberd. They couldn't force him. The mayor and the other 2 also knew that it was useless to give any orders to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow had his own ideas. The combination of his brain power and his strength is unbreakable for Emo Tianji. When the time is up, Night Sorrow will be safe. Then I'll go and solve the problem of the Demon Mountain. Maybe that's the key to why the black dragons and the flying snakes betrayed the celestial realm, the mayor said. King Yawu and the Grand Elder both nodded. The internal disharmony in the celestial realm was the most unstable factor in the conflict between the celestial realm and the Sky Desolate realm. This went on for half a year. Emo Tianji broke through more than a dozen illusion formations of Night Sorrow. However, no matter how careful she was, Night Sorrow would always run away at the crucial moment. This made Emo Tianji very angry. However, she didn't know how to break Night Sorrow's habit of running away when he was discovered. During this period of cultivation, Yishang's cultivation had increased once more. Staying at the top of the Haotian God Pagoda in the acceleration of time had increased Yishang's space-time attribute by 1 point and his nothingness attribute by 2 points, reaching 53%. There were many void purple light snakes here, which meant that the void attribute was the strongest. It was the place where the will of the world was the strongest. The destruction attribute's will of the world also increased by 2 points, reaching 52%. This was the benefit of refining the Sky Desolate halberd. Unable to bring the halberd into the Hautian godly pagoda, Night Sorrow could only refine it at the top of the pagoda. Although the time acceleration couldn't reach 50 times, 30 times was more than enough. Half a year in the real world meant that Night Sorrow had refined the halberd for 15 years. 15 years of continuous refinement of the destructive energy inside the Sky Desolate halberd had helped Yishang a lot. After refining for 15 years, Night Sorrow still hadn't finished refining the halberd. However, it wasn't that he didn't gain anything. He refined part of the halberd's handle. It should be said that part of the handle was contaminated with his soul aura. Now that he was holding the halberd, it wasn't that heavy anymore. Of course, this was Night Sorrow's feeling. It was still very strenuous for Longjin and Tianyu to take it directly. When Night Sorrow held the halberd, it was 1/3 lighter than before. Night Sorrow understood that he had refined 1/3 of it. Since he couldn't put it away, Night Sorrow held it in his hand. If he encountered a void purple light snake, he would use the halberd to attack. When Night Sorrow used the halberd, he didn't have the sharpness and agility of the reincarnation spear. However, there was an additional weight. It was a weight that could crush everything. As long as the halberd hit something, even a mountain would be turned into dust. Void purple light snake was no exception. 7 months have passed. We still have to endure. After using the teleportation array again to avoid Mo Tianji, Night Sorrow and the other two flew for a day and landed on the ground to set up camp. In the past, the three of them didn't dare to set up camp. But now, they weren't afraid because Night Sorrow would know in advance if Mo Tianji chased after them. Night Sorrow and the other two drank and chatted. They were all in a good mood. Brother Shursan, Mo Tianji is still thinking about your bloodline. I can't help but laugh when I think about it. Tianyu said with a smile. This treacherous woman is pissing me off. Night Sorrow cursed. Last time, when they were chasing after Night Sorrow, Mo Tianji had shouted that as long as Night Sorrow was willing to submit, the Demon Wing clan would marry their most outstanding princess to Night Sorrow. If they had children, they would be given the title of nobles in the Demon Wing clan. After hearing this, Night Sorrow and the other two knew what Mo Tianji was thinking as long as they weren't stupid. That's her wishful thinking. But Captain, maybe you can try to see how the Demon Wing clan's princess feels. Longjin took a bite of meat and said, I don't reject the union of the 100 races of the celestial realm with the human race. But the Demon Wing clan is a foreign race. If the 100 races of the celestial realm marry the Demon Wing clan, it would be betraying the celestial realm. Night Sorrow said. Longjin and Tianyu nodded. They knew this was their principle. If it were them, they wouldn't do it either. Another small group. The leader has a very strong evil aura. They should be the Black Dragons. Longjin confirmed. Night Sorrow's soul power scanned the area and Gong Zongbai's group appeared. Chapter 1892. Not only were the dragon-headed and snake-headed people under Gong Zibai's control dead, but his team had also lost 6 clones. It was a heavy loss, but there was nothing he could do about it. The void purple light snakes were too fast. Even Mo Tianji couldn't stop them, let alone Gong Zibai and his team. The void purple light snakes devoured energy and flew. Any seal would be broken in an instant. Longjin checked and nodded. That's right. They are members of the Black Dragons. Half of them are from the Flying Serpent race. Brother 13, should we kill them? Tianyu asked. We know the dragon language and have a good relationship with the dragon language. There's no need to attack the Black Dragons directly. I have a grudge with Long Zhe. I'll settle it with him in the future. Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. Longjin and Tianyu nodded. They supported Night Sorrow's decision. Currently, the Black Dragons and Flying Serpents had been going against the 100 Races Alliance of the Celestial Realm. However, the 100 Races Alliance hadn't given the order to kill them. Night Sorrow didn't kill the Black Dragons because he was considering the big picture. Sometimes, the tiger would hurt the man even if the man didn't hurt the man. Night Sorrow's team was eating meat and drinking wine when Gong Zibai and his team arrived. After arriving, they surrounded Night Sorrow's team. Gong Zibai's eyes were fixed on the Sky Desolation halberd in front of Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's team ignored Gong Zibai and his team and continued drinking. They wanted to see what Gong Zibai was going to do. Sky Desolation halberd. I've searched high and low for it, only to find it by chance. Gong Zibai recognized the Sky Desolation halberd. It was one of his missions. Are you done? Then get lost. Long Jin looked at Gong Zibai's greedy eyes unhappily. Do you want to die? Gong Zibai unsheathed his sword and pointed it at Long Jin. Long Jin stood up. Golden scales appeared on his arms, and dragon horns appeared on his head. He had transformed into a half-dragon. Are you going to attack me? If you want to attack, then get lost. There were many branches of the dragons. However, there was only one royal, and that was the Golden Dragon race. When Long Jin started to dragonize, the members of the Black Dragon clan retreated a distance. The natural king's aura had a great effect on them. I don't care who you are. The Patriarch has ordered us to bring the Sky Desolation halberd back. No one can stop us, Gong Zongbai said. Come. Leader, they won't retreat. Long Jin said. He was. Night Sorrows s. Night. Calm. S. Fight. It's. Ye. Be. Let. Fight. Do you really think you're so great? You usually drag us down and show off. No one cares. But you shouldn't have stuck your foot in front of us. Tianyu held his sword in his hand. 3 pieces of trash. How dare you talk big? Who do you think you are? What is the Golden Dragon race? Gong Zibai looked at the Sky Baron war halberd with fiery eyes. We're trash. Who do you think you are? Night Sorrow snorted. You don't know what's good for you. Kill them all. Gong Zibai's eyes didn't leave the Sky Baron war halberd. He waved his hand and ordered the team behind him to attack. Tianyu roared. He unsheathed his sword and rushed toward the other members of the Black Dragon team. Long Jin began to wield the tsunami blade in his hand to kill the members of the Dragon tribe and the Flying Serpent tribe. Gong Zibai then rushed toward Night Sorrow. His target was the Sky Baron war halberd in front of Night Sorrow. Reckless. Night Sorrow grabbed the Sky Baron war halberd with his right hand and slashed at the war blade in Gong Zibai's right hand. You're the one who's courting death. Gong Zibai snorted. In terms of strength, Gong Zibai was never afraid of anyone. He was from the Black Dragon race and was born with great strength. Not to mention, his cultivation base was slightly higher than Night Sorrow's. When the two weapons collided, Gong Zibai's face changed. A powerful force came from the Sky Baron war halberd. It was so powerful that he couldn't describe it. Shatter. When the Sky Baron war halberd struck Gong Zibai's war blade, the majestic and heavy intent shattered it. Following that, the force behind the halberd sent Gong Zibai flying. Blood flowed from the corner of Gong Zibai's mouth. Night Sorrow had seriously injured him. Night Sorrow sent out a Sky Baron Nirvana palm with his left hand. He then used the Void Steps and instantly caught up with Gong Zibai, who was enveloped by the Sky Baron Nirvana palm. He then swung his Sky Baron war halberd. Gong Zibai's body was enveloped by the Sky Baron Nirvana palm's space-time control. He couldn't dodge Night Sorrow's attack. He took out his war blade and raised it to block the Sky Baron war halberd's path towards his head. Pa! Gong Zibai's war blade shattered into pieces once again. The Sky Baron war halberd also landed on Gong Zibai's face. Even though Gong Zibai raised his head to dodge, he still couldn't avoid it. This time, Gong Zibai's mouth was flattened. His teeth flew out and his upper and lower jaw bones were shattered. He fainted on the spot. Since his head was attacked, his spirit sea was naturally affected as well. Originally, Gong Zibai wasn't such a trash. However, he thought that his cultivation base was high. Therefore, he didn't put Night Sorrow in his eyes. After the first exchange, he suffered a great loss and was seriously injured. After Night Sorrow released his domain, he waved the Sky Baron war halberd and joined the chaotic battle. After releasing his domain, Night Sorrow's speed was extremely fast. The Sky Baron war halberd continued to attack. As long as one was hit by the Sky Baron war halberd, they wouldn't have a good ending. The black dragons and flying serpents who were hit felt as if they were smashed by a mountain. They couldn't resist at all. Long Jean also started to kill. He wanted to clean up the clan. The black dragons dared to attack him because they didn't put the Golden Dragon clan in their eyes. They were offending their superiors. The battle went on for the time it took to brew a cup of tea. These monarchs were completely defeated by Night Sorrow and the other two. Long Jean released his bloodline suppression. The black dragons and flying serpents were all suppressed. The suppression came from their souls, causing their strength to be greatly reduced. Although Night Sorrow and the other two's cultivation base were low, they were very good at strength and speed. Therefore, the people that Gong Zibai brought were completely defeated. Because Long Jean killed, except for some who ran away without fighting, the rest were all killed. Night Sorrow sat down with the Sky Baron war halberd and continued to drink tea. Long Jean woke Gong Zibai up. He wanted to teach Gong Zibai a lesson. After waking up, Gong Zibai looked at Night Sorrow, Long Jean and Tianyu. His eyes were filled with fear because the surroundings were filled with corpses. The black dragons are lawless now. They even dare to offend their superiors? Long Jean slapped Gong Zibai's face with a backhand. Gong Zibai knelt on the ground. Although he couldn't speak, his soul power could vibrate to convey his thoughts. He was begging for mercy and wanted to live. Chapter 1893. Gong Zibai kept kowtowing to the ground, begging for his life. Cheap mouth and soft bones. You are a disgrace, do you know that? Long Jean kicked Gong Zibai's face again. A spineless bastard, Tianyu scolded. He despised people like Gong Zibai the most. I'm a bastard. I'm a piece of trash. Please be merciful. Gong Zibai's soul kept fluctuating. A disgrace. The more Long Jean heard, the angrier he got. He slapped Gong Zibai's head. He couldn't let such a piece of trash live. After collecting the spoils, Tianyu spread his wings and flew with Night Sorrow and Long Jean on his back. Mo Tianji, who had sensed that the halberd wasn't moving, cursed. It wasn't moving, but now it was moving. Was he playing with her? As Tianyu flew, Night Sorrow sat at the top of the Haotian godly pagoda and continued to cultivate in the time acceleration. At the same time, he was refining the halberd. Captain, the halberd is very powerful. Long Jean said to Night Sorrow's doppelganger. He had seen the halberd's destructive power. It destroyed everything it attacked. It was very powerful. It's too heavy. Even if it's 1/3 lighter, I can't use it like an extension of my arm. I can't use some battle skills and techniques. It's too clumsy, Night Sorrow said. When it's completely refined, there won't be such a drawback. Then Brother 13 will have another divine weapon, Tianyu said while flying. I'm afraid that won't work. The elders of the 100 races value this item very much. They might ask me for it. Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. You have to give it to them just because they want it. That doesn't make sense. Besides, you were the one who abandoned the city lord, King Yawu, and the great elder. It's your ability to keep them. You've already done them a favor by finding the remains of the human sovereign. Long Jean didn't want to see Yishang hand over the halberd that he had worked so hard to obtain. Night Sorrow nodded. He wasn't willing to hand it over either. If he could successfully bring it back, he would see how things developed. If the city lord of Heavenly Desolate City, King Yawu, and the great elder asked for it, then he would hand it over. The three of them were giants of the 100 Races Alliance. They were wholeheartedly thinking for the Heaven Realm, and had no selfish motives. If others wanted it, then sorry, Yishang would not spoil them. Tianyu and Long Jean flew in turns while Mo Tianji chased after them. The distance between them did not decrease. Instead, it increased. Mo Tianji needed to recover. Knowing that this couldn't go on, Mo Tianji thought for a moment, and took out a Peak Demon Wing Race Imperial Emperor from her spatial treasure. Under her guidance, the Demon Wing Race Imperial Emperor flew with the spatial treasure while she recovered. After flying for 2 days, Night Sorrow set up the same trap as before. Then he set up camp and rested while his main body continued to refine. In just 1 day, Night Sorrow sensed that Mo Tianji was approaching. He hurriedly told Long Jean and Tianyu about the situation. This cunning woman should be the same as us. She let the demon wing race Imperial Emperor fly with her. This way, we can't stay steady even if we want to, said the golden dragon. No one was a fool. They immediately guessed. Then we can only keep running and switching between running and stopping. She won't be able to figure out our pattern, said Tianyu. Then I'll have to trouble you too. My refining speed is faster, but according to my estimation, the remaining 2/3 will take half a year, said Night Sorrow. That's nothing. While our main body is cultivating, our doppelgangers will accompany the captain to walk this cunning woman. It's more meaningful, said Longjin with a smile. Night Sorrow did not turn back to dismantle the teleportation circle, as it might come in handy after making a round. Then, Longjin carried Night Sorrow and Tianyu and began flying. Night Sorrow, once I catch you, I will drink your blood. Mo Tianji was on the verge of breaking down. She felt as if she was very close to the Sky Wasteland halberd, but she noticed that the Sky Wasteland halberd was moving. GTQ*positive. Version X #_ how many years had it been since Mo Tianji felt like she was about to collapse? What kind of big shot had she not seen before? However, she had never met someone like Night Sorrow who was so good at jumping around. She just couldn't hold him down. Just as she was about to hold him down, he jumped again. Mo Tianji stopped chasing after the battle between Night Sorrow and Gong Zibai. She felt that there was something wrong with her train of thought. If she followed Night Sorrow's train of thought, she would never be able to catch him. Looking at the corpses of the black dragons and flying serpents, Mo Tianji thought of a crucial problem. If she caught up and blocked Night Sorrow, how confident would she be in taking him down? After pondering for a moment, Mo Tianji made a decision. She would cultivate first and increase her cultivation to the Emperor realm. Only then would she be confident in dealing with Night Sorrow. After flying to the other side of the broken sky mountain, Night Sorrow stopped with Longjin and Tianyu. If she doesn't catch up, we will wait. If she doesn't chase, we will just be running around. Wouldn't that be tiring for us? Then let's set up camp. Captain, be careful and don't get tricked by her, Longjin said. Longjin and Tianyu were also wary of Mo Tianji. Not only was this woman powerful, she was also ruthless and determined. Without noticing that Mo Tianji was chasing after him, Night Sorrow cultivated peacefully. The more time passed, the more advantageous it would be for him. No matter if he refined the Sky Desolation battle halberd first, or if it was 2 years later, Mo Tianji would fail either way. After 3 months, Night Sorrow had refined 2/3 of the Sky Desolation battle halberd. Mo Tianji is really not coming? Has she given up? Tianyu said while drinking the tea that Night Sorrow brewed. She will never give up because the human sovereign's remains and the Sky Desolation battle halberd are related to the fate of the celestial realm and the Sky Desolation battle halberd. In addition, she still wants to deal with me and take back her original body. If she doesn't come now, it won't be a good thing because she might have gone to increase her cultivation. She already has a cultivation realm, and what she lacks is energy. When she appears again, it will be a crisis for us. Night Sorrow said. Captain, what you said is too scary. After hearing Night Sorrow's explanation, Longjin's expression changed. They knew how strong Mo Tianji was now. If she increased her cultivation realm and entered the Emperor realm, the situation would be unimaginable. I'm also thinking about this problem. It's useless to run now. She can sense the Sky Desolation battle halberd and can lock onto us at any time. Now we can only hope that the void purple light snakes can stop her. Perhaps when she increases her cultivation realm, my space-time attribute can also increase and reach the peak of the Emperor realm. Then the gap between us will be smaller. Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow chose this place to cultivate for a reason. First, the space-time intent here was very strong. Second, there were many void purple light snakes not too far away. 3 months. In 3 more months, 13th brother will be able to refine the Sky Desolation battle halberd. Let's see if we can survive these 3 months. Tianyu said. He knew that this was a great crisis. Time slipped away bit by bit. After 3.5 months, Mo Tianji came out of seclusion. She was a 7-star emperor, which was also the Emperor realm. Chapter 1894. While Mo Tianji was chasing, Night Sorrow's avatar, who was cultivating his spear art, suddenly stopped. His aura and his original body, who was meditating, both rose and underwent some changes. 6-star Emperor, Peak Monarch. Cultivating in the area with the densest spacetime aura, Night Sorrow's spacetime attribute had a breakthrough. He entered the 6-star Emperor realm, and his cultivation increased by 1 level. Captain, you have advanced, Long Jin said in surprise. Night Sorrow's cultivation speed was indeed fast. Yes, my spacetime attribute has advanced. My speed has increased and my ability to protect myself has increased. Night Sorrow was also very happy. Night Sorrow had advanced. The 3 brothers naturally drank to celebrate. In the middle of the night, while Long Jin and Tianyu were surprised, Night Sorrow looked behind him and said, "That woman is here." After 3.5 months of peace, this woman still came. Ah. Drinking and celebrating won't even let me rest. This is so boring. Tianyu was very unhappy. My cultivation increased at the right time. I originally thought that I could fight her after advancing. However, since she has chased after me, her cultivation must be at the Emperor realm. The difference between us is even greater than before. Night Sorrow said in a low voice. Monarch and Emperor realm was a watershed. Not only in terms of cultivation, but the energy contained in the body was also completely different. Night Sorrow and Mo Tianji's cultivation both increased by 1 level. Mo Tianji's cultivation was still the same, but the energy contained in her body was different. Therefore, Night Sorrow said that the difference was greater than before. 13th brother, let's run then. Tianyu stood up. Night Sorrow nodded. The battle could start at any time. However, in the next 2.5 months, they should focus on refining the Sky Desolate war halberd. They could not lose the big picture for small gains. Tianyu flew up. Tianyu's divine pagoda stood on his back. Night Sorrow's original body continued refining the Sky Desolate war halberd at the top of the pagoda. The clone and Long Jin sat upright, thinking about the dangers they might encounter. If he hadn't leveled up, Night Sorrow wouldn't have let Tianyu run away, because it would be very dangerous for him to be caught. If he relied on the purple light snakes near the stronghold just now, there would still be a chance, but it was different now. Night Sorrow admitted that his battle prowess was inferior to Mo Tianji's, but in terms of speed, he was confident. His advancement was in the space-time attribute, and his comprehension of time and space had increased. It was a great help to his speed. Night Sorrow felt that even the Emperor rank Mo Tianji couldn't beat him in speed. At most, they would be on par. There wasn't much difference in speed. What mattered was the energy consumption. Mo Tianji only had 1 body. Even though it had a lot of energy, it was only about the same as his original body and his doppelganger combined. Under such circumstances, it was important to have good companions. Tianyu and Long Jin were divine beasts that specialized in speed and strength. The imperial emperors under Mo Tianji could not compare to them. While Night Sorrow was analyzing and thinking about the advantages and disadvantages, Mo Tianji felt the Sky Desolate battle halberd move. This time, Mo Tianji didn't curse because she wasn't afraid that Night Sorrow would run away. Mo Tianji took out a peak imperial emperor from her spatial artifact and let him carry it. Under her guidance, she started to recover. A #forever free. Look at what little G said. Mo Tianji wasn't in a hurry. As long as her imperial emperors didn't pull away, it would be fine. When the energy in her body recovered, Mo Tianji continued to fly. Her speed was twice as fast as her subordinates. Her plan was to let the imperial emperors fly at full speed to maintain the situation while she chased after them. Mo Tianji's plan was right, but reality wasn't like that. Tianyu and Long Jin weren't peak imperial emperors, but they specialized in speed. Mo Tianji wasn't flying by herself, so she would be left behind. If she flew at full speed, she wouldn't be able to catch up much. Night Sorrow's doppelganger sensed Mo Tianji's situation while his original body was still cultivating. 7 days passed in the chase. How did she know I was close? Is this a premonition of danger? Mo Tianji muttered to herself when she returned to the spatial artifact to recover. She didn't understand Night Sorrow's actions. A while ago he stopped for 3.5 months. What about now? He didn't stop for 7 days. It was as if he had predicted her actions. Does he have something from my original body? No, if he has something from my original body, he can sense me. Then I can sense it too. But I don't have it now. Mo Tianji thought as she recovered. She denied all the possibilities. In the blink of an eye, half a month passed. Night Sorrow had refined the Sky Baron war halberd for 10 months. They had been in the reincarnation space for almost a year. Brother 13, is the refinement going smoothly? Tianyu asked. It's fine. I've started refining the blade of the Sky Baron war halberd. 2 months should be enough. But it's been hard on you and Longjin. She keeps chasing us so we can't stop. We can't use the same method as half a year ago. Night Sorrow looked at Longjin and Tianyu and said, It's nothing. We're just playing with her for 2 more months. Captain, once you refine the Sky Baron war halberd, she won't be able to sense it. She won't be able to chase us. We'll find a place to stay for a few months. Then we can safely return to the celestial realm. Longjin said indifferently. In the long life of a cultivator, 2 months was nothing. The distance between them kept shrinking. After all, Mo Tianji was an emperor. When she flew, she could shorten the distance by quite a bit. Tian Mo Tianji caught up. When she saw Night Sorrow's situation, she immediately understood why it was so hard to chase him. It was because the 2 divine beasts were taking turns. Their speed was naturally incomparably fast. Mo Tianji caught up. Night Sorrow didn't notice it at first because the difference between his soul power and Mo Tianji's was not small. However, as the distance kept shrinking, Night Sorrow noticed Mo Tianji. He also knew the reason why Mo Tianji could catch up. She was fast and her subordinates were flying hard to maintain the advantage. When Tianyu needed to be replaced, Night Sorrow put Tianyu and Longjin into the Clear Sky Pagoda. His doppelganger dragged the Clear Sky Pagoda, and then used the Void Step to fly. He wanted to see the difference in speed between him and Mo Tianji. The advancement of the spacetime attribute greatly increased the power of Night Sorrow's Void Step. It was as if he was walking casually. However, every step he took covered a large distance. He wasn't any slower than Mo Tianji with her white hair fluttering in the wind. Damn it! After being surprised by Night Sorrow's speed, Mo Tianji noticed that Night Sorrow's cultivation had increased. She increased her cultivation by 1 level and so did Night Sorrow. The distance between them didn't shrink at all. When Night Sorrow felt that his doppelganger couldn't hold on any longer and needed to recover, it had already been 2 days. He was forcefully holding on. When his body couldn't hold on any longer, Night Sorrow let Tianyu, who was best at speed, carry the Clear Sky Pagoda and his main body. Chapter 1895. Night Sorrow was recovering under the Haotian Pagoda's 50-fold time acceleration. Night Sorrow could recover to his peak state in 4 hours. 4 hours in the Haotian Godly Pagoda was only half a cup of tea's time in the real world. Mo Tianji noticed the appearance of Night Sorrow at his peak state, but she was still a bit away from full recovery. Anger, Mo Tianji was furious. She had seen Night Sorrow's speed and his recovery speed. She understood that it would be very difficult to catch up to Night Sorrow. Moreover, almost a year had passed. Another year would be a foregone conclusion. Night Sorrow, let's talk. Mo Tianji shouted after appearing. Her voice traveled through space for tens of thousands of miles. Night Sorrow naturally heard it. Talk. From the big picture, the celestial realm and Tianhuang are enemies. From a personal point of view, my master died because of you, so there is no room for discussion between us. Night Sorrow's voice also traveled behind him. Can't you be more reasonable? Your master Yan Wushuang touched the god Annihilation Tribulation herself. After her body was destroyed, she came to Tianhuang to cause trouble. She killed countless experts and trapped me for countless years. Who is whose enemy? Mo Tianji was very angry after hearing Night Sorrow's words, because she was the victim. Not only had she been trapped by Yan Wushuang for countless years, her true body had also been taken away by Yi Chang. As for whether she had been touched or not, she wasn't sure. Although she wasn't a man, she knew how tempting her body was to men. What you said makes sense, but I saw it with my own eyes. Because of you, Master Wushuang's soul was completely destroyed. Therefore, I can't let this go. Night Sorrow was taken aback after hearing Emo Tianji's words. According to her, she was indeed the victim. Tell me, what do you want for me to return my true body? Emo Tianji asked. Emo Tianji, I'm the virtuous emperor of the human race. Of course, I'm thinking for the celestial realm. If I let you recover, I'll be helping the evildoers. Let me tell you the truth. Don't talk to me. I don't intend to lie to you, Night Sorrow said. Emo Tianji didn't say anything. Although she was angry, she couldn't scold Night Sorrow even if she wanted to. The chase was still going on, and Night Sorrow's original body continued to refine the infinite wasteland war halberd. In other words, if this stalemate continued, Night Sorrow would have the upper hand. The feeling of helplessness was very strong. Emo Tianji didn't expect to be unable to change the situation even after reaching the emperor rank. She felt that luck wasn't on her side. Night Sorrow's advancement came at the wrong time. Emo Tianji, whether you chase or not, the result will be the same. I won't hide it from you. The emperor's remains and the infinite wasteland war halberd are both in my hands. The future of the infinite wasteland will definitely not be as good as the human race. Just go back where you came from. After Night Sorrow recovered, he stood behind Tianyu and yelled at Emo Tianji who was chasing after him. Survival of the fittest. This is a principle that hasn't changed since ancient times. The devil-winged race has to fight for a reason. From today onwards, I, Emo Tianji, will treat you, Night Sorrow, as a true opponent. Emo Tianji calmed down. Good. Respecting the opponent is the attitude a cultivator should have. Night Sorrow's heart shook. An angry Emo Tianji might be scary, but when she calmed down, she was truly scary. If the early stage emperor rank isn't enough, then I'll reach the middle stage emperor rank before catching you. You can still be carefree for half a year. After chasing around Broken Sky Mountain for half a month, Emo Tianji stopped because it was useless. Night Sorrow's speed was the same as hers. In terms of support strength, Tianyu and Long Jin were faster than her emperors. Emo Tianji made this decision after careful consideration. If there was a problem, she had to think of a way to solve it. Stubbornly resisting wasn't the way to solve the problem. Emo Tianji estimated that if she desperately raised her cultivation by 1 rank, she would need half a year. This meant that she still had close to half a year to deal with Night Sorrow. When Emo Tianji stopped chasing, Night Sorrow let out a breath of relief and continued to fly. After flying half a circle, he found a place with dense void energy. Night Sorrow stopped and set up an illusion array at the new stronghold before setting up a teleportation array for retreat. 13th brother, she gave us half a year. Isn't she worried you'll refine the Sky Desolate war halberd? Tianyu finished setting up the tent and said, The Sky Desolate war halberd has been in my hands for 10 months. She thinks I won't be able to refine it. Then again, if she doesn't raise her cultivation, what can she do even if she's worried? Night Sorrow glanced at the main body that was still trying to refine the Sky Desolate war halberd. This was the truth. If Emo Tianji didn't raise her cultivation, what was the point of worrying? With his doppelganger on guard, Night Sorrow's main body was refining the Sky Desolate war halberd at full speed. At the same time, he was researching how to raise the void and destruction attributes. Emo Tianji really needed to cultivate. She wanted to use her middle stage emperor rank cultivation to deal with Night Sorrow. In the second month of peace, Night Sorrow's virtuous flames and soul power had been refined to the core region of the Sky Desolate war halberd. Night Sorrow was very excited. The Sky Desolate war halberd was very close to being completely refined. As long as the final region of the Sky Desolate war halberd was refined, the xenogenic aura within the Sky Desolate war halberd would be gone. What was left was his soul aura. Just as Yishang's heart was filled with joy, an incomparably tyrannical aura that could crush everything appeared. It was a black energy. It should be a soul force of the destruction attribute. Yishang even felt that the attribute of this soul force had already surpassed the tyrannical nature of the destruction attribute. This black soul power left the Sky Desolate war halberd and charged towards Night Sorrow's divine sea. Origin Pearl Protect Body. Night Sorrow roared. A purple halo appeared above his head. This was the energy of the 9-region origin pearl. At the same time, Night Sorrow activated the light of virtue in his divine sea and mixed it with his soul power. He cast Soul Rhythm, which was the soul defense absolute art he learned in the Sky Desolate Tower. This black soul power charged towards Night Sorrow's divine sea twice. However, it was repelled by Night Sorrow's light of virtue and soul power. Virtuous Flames. Chapter T section? Up. Night Sorrow released his virtuous territory, and then activated the human Emperor's seal. He unleashed the virtuous fire. The area within a radius of several feet around him was instantly filled with golden flames. After the golden flames appeared, they wrapped around this soul power and began to burn it. This soul power was even more tyrannical than the void purple light snake. Night Sorrow's domain suppression effect was not very strong. It circled around Night Sorrow's divine sea and attacked him. Night Sorrow used all of his power to activate the 9-region origin pearl's defense. His soul power and light of virtue combined to cast a soul defense absolute art. He blocked the invasion of this soul power. At the same time, the human Emperor's seal's virtuous flames burned this soul power. Chapter 1896. Night Sorrow's doppelganger put Long Jin and Tianyu into the Hao Tian Tower. He could hold on, but if the soul power attacked Long Jin and Tianyu, it would be a big problem. After putting away Tianyu and Long Jin, Night Sorrow's doppelganger merged with his real body. The Green Lotus Jade Ring went to his spirit sea, giving him another layer of soul defense. The battle was still in a stalemate. Night Sorrow was defending very well, but the soul power looked tired. Without a body to support it, the soul power was like a rootless duckweed. Feeling the exhaustion of the soul power, Night Sorrow increased the power of the human king's seal to keep the fire of virtue burning. After the time it took to drink a cup of tea, the black soul power could not hold on any longer. Like the purple snake, it teleported away. Night Sorrow's forehead was covered in sweat. He knew it was because he had a soul defense treasure and a light of virtue. Otherwise, his spirit sea would have been broken. What happened to Brother 13? Tianyu, who had been teleported out of the Hao Tian Tower by Night Sorrow, asked. I almost died. Sky Baron Halberd has a soul fragment. It must belong to the demon Alpha. Night Sorrow waved the Sky Baron Halberd, and it felt completely different. The fire of soul had completely refined it, and there was no longer any xenogenic presence inside. Mo Tianji, who was meditating in a quiet place, stood up. She looked very surprised because the hair around her finger was flickering. It became very unstable, and then the light dimmed. Mo Tianji looked at the hair around her finger, and then she used the weak light to fly. If she could not guess that something was wrong with the Sky Baron Halberd, she would be an idiot. After flying for a day, a black soul power appeared. Before Mo Tianji could react, it went into the 2 strands of hair around her finger. After that, the 2 strands of hair around Mo Tianji's finger disappeared. Everything returned to silence. There was no more movement. Zr. Mo Tianji's expression became ugly because she couldn't sense the halberd. This meant that Night Sorrow had refined the halberd. The demon ancestor's soul fragment was able to force out the Sky Desolation War halberd. This explained the problem. He had lost. Mo Tianji understood that she had lost this trip to the reincarnation battlefield. She had lost thoroughly. She was able to determine where the Sky Wasteland halberd was, but she failed to snatch it back. Now that she was unable to determine its location, how could she snatch it back? There was no chance at all. Letting out a breath, Mo Tianji made a decision. She would not tangle with Night Sorrow for the time being. She should focus on her cultivation. She only had one body, and Night Sorrow's clone and true body were both here. She had no advantage in a fight. Night Sorrow was in a very good mood. The Sky Wasteland halberd no longer had the xenogenic aura, so he could wield it freely. He could also store it in the Hao Tian Godly Pagoda. Brother 13, have you finished refining it? Tianyu asked happily. Refining complete. Night Sorrow nodded. Long Jin patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. He was happy for Night Sorrow too. Then we can meet up with the others. The mission was completed perfectly. When the time is up, we can return, Tianyu said. My clone will go with you. I still have work to do, Night Sorrow said. He still had some ideas. Night Sorrow planned to go to the place with the most void purple light snakes. He wanted to capture more of them, as they were pure void energy. The other area had a strong void will. If he practiced there, his void will would increase with half the effort. There were still 10 months left, and he could raise his cultivation. That's fine. Captain refined the Sky Wasteland halberd. Mo Tianji will not be able to find Captain, so we should be safe. Long Jin was relieved. Then Night Sorrow's original body left with the Haotian godly pagoda. His clone, Tianyu, and Long Jin headed to the hidden stronghold. After Night Sorrow's clone met up with the soldiers of the First Army, everyone was very happy. They had not seen Night Sorrow for a while. Everyone was worried about Night Sorrow. Thank you, everyone. I've made you worry. The environment here is good. It's suitable for comprehending the heaven and earth will. You can cultivate however you want, Night Sorrow said. Then he went to set up 2 teleportation formations. After knowing Mo Tianji's strength, Night Sorrow had to be careful. If Mo Tianji, who had cultivated to the 8-star Emperor realm, happened to run into them, it would be dangerous. They had to have a perfect plan to retreat. After setting up 2 hidden aces that could retreat at any time, Night Sorrow returned to the stronghold and perfected a few of his ultimate techniques. Night Sorrow's original body carried 2 weapons. One was the Sky Wasteland halberd, and the other was the reincarnation spear. Night Sorrow really liked the Sky Wasteland halberd. Domineering. When he wielded it, the feeling of destroying something was very comfortable. When he reached the place where the void purple light snakes gathered, Night Sorrow began to fight. The void purple light snakes contained very dense void energy. To Night Sorrow, it was a great supplement. It was very helpful to increase his void energy. After using his virtue domain to suppress the void purple light snake's speed, Yishang took out his reincarnation spear. Stabbing, slashing, and slashing, every move he made was able to kill the void purple light snake. After killing it, Yishang's soul power revolved and absorbed the energy into the human emperor's seal. In half a day, Night Sorrow killed his way into the depths of the mountain. The number of void purple light snakes didn't decrease. Instead, there were more of them. One day later, Night Sorrow killed his way into a special area of the broken mountain. Cracks and destructive whirlpools constantly appeared in the sky. The cracks were filled with black destructive energy and purple void energy. The manifestation of the will of heaven and earth was also very intense. At this moment, Night Sorrow understood why there were so many void purple light snakes in this area. It was because the void energy here was very dense. As for why there weren't any destruction attributed demonic beasts, it was very simple. This area was already occupied by the void purple light snakes. Even if there were destruction attributed demonic beasts, they wouldn't be able to gain a foothold here. Night Sorrow wanted to cultivate, but with countless void purple light snakes around, he couldn't calm down. He couldn't kill them all. This gave Yishang a bit of a headache. He would never give up on this treasured land. After looking around, Night Sorrow found a problem. There were no void purple light snakes in the area where the destructive energy was erupting. The void purple light snakes were usually in places where the void energy was denser. Night Sorrow arrived at the boundary between the destructive space crack and the void space crack. He took out the Haotian godly pagoda and enlarged it to a height of 300 meters. His body then flashed and landed on the top of the pagoda. After observing for a while and confirming that the void purple light snakes wouldn't disturb him, he sat down cross-legged and began to cultivate. Everything quieted down. Mo Tianji gave up on looking for Night Sorrow and continued to improve her cultivation. The Black Dragons and the few remaining members of the Flying Serpent clan ran to a secluded place and hid. Gong Zibai and most of the members were killed. They couldn't do anything. Night Sorrow's doppelganger cultivated the lost art while protecting the members of the First Army. Chapter 1897. The city lord, King Yawu, and the Grand Elder were elated when they heard that Night Sorrow had completely refined the Sky Baron halberd. Although they had only heard Lin Piamiao's report, they knew what kind of danger Yishan was facing. That was the danger of Mo Tianji being able to lock onto a target and chase after them. The problem of the sky baron halberd has been solved. Hide well and wait for the reincarnation battlefield to appear, the city lord said. When the reincarnation battlefield appears, please inform me first. Tell him not to let the experts of the Demon Wings clan enter first and bring danger to him, Lin Piaomiao said. Okay, I'll go in first. He has completed his task in the reincarnation battlefield and waited for the reincarnation battlefield to appear. He has done what he should do. If we still let him take the risk, it will be our incompetence, the city lord said. He had made up his mind to go to the reincarnation battlefield as soon as possible. By the way, the Sky Baron halberd has been completely refined by Night Sorrow. What do you plan to do? If the city lord wants the Sky Baron halberd, he won't recognize you as its master. Otherwise, he will recognize you as its master. This way he will have more strength, Lin Piaomiao said. This was not Night Sorrow's idea. She was asking for her husband. The three of us asked him to abandon it. This is his choice. His safety and the remains of the human sovereign are more important than anything else. He persevered for a year while being chased and got the Sky Baron halberd. This is the result of his hard work. No one can take it away from him. It's a good thing that the Sky Baron halberd is not in the hands of the Demon Wings clan. We are willing to see it in his hands, the city lord said. Then I'll let him know. This time around, he was truly in a life and death struggle. Thankfully, his cultivation base had advanced in time, and he had completed the refinement in time. Otherwise, his life would have been in danger. Lin Piaomiao felt a lingering fear as she thought about it. The three had been learning about Yi Shang's situation through Lin Piaomiao. They knew that Mo Tianji had increased her cultivation, and after failing to kill Yi Shang, she had to increase her cultivation again before killing Yi Shang. Therefore they knew that Yi Shang was in danger. Both intelligent and courageous, daring to fight and fight. Only with such perseverance and tenacity can the impossible become possible. If it were someone else, the infinite desolate war halberd would have already changed hands. The Grand Elder sighed. Then King Yewu asked about the Humanitarian League, and Lin Piaomiao gave him a brief introduction. Currently, the Humanitarian League was under the command of Pu Luo and Fun Tian. Ruiz and Yuzhu returned to their lair to increase their strength. The Great Demon King returned to his own domain. His true body needed to cultivate while his avatar reorganized the domain. The Grand Elder and the other two nodded. They valued the Humanitarian League very much, and did not want the Humanitarian League to go astray. Then the Grand Elder asked about Lin Piaomiao's situation. Lin Piaomiao's true body had been cultivating with the help of a spatial treasure. She had even passed the 7 calamities of the heavenly law. The 9 calamities of the heavenly law is a hurdle, but it's not a big problem for you. You have to do it steadily. King Yewu said. Thank you for your concern. I'll be careful. Lin Piaomiao nodded. In the evil Punisher land, Datura floated out of the Yellow Spring River. Seeing Datura, Lin Piaomiao's true body came out of the glazed pagoda. Seeing Datura, Lin Piaomiao was shocked. Her cultivation had increased too quickly. She had surpassed the 2-star Emperor realm, and went from the 1-star Emperor realm to the 3-star Emperor realm. How's Night Sorrow's situation now? Datura asked. Very good. He'll be back in less than a year. You're a little too domineering. You went into seclusion to gain enlightenment, and you increased your cultivation by 2 levels. Lin Piaomiao pulled Datura into the glazed pagoda and brewed a pot of tea. The Yellow Spring River is very suitable for my cultivation. Sister Xian'er, you have to keep this place open to me. I don't even need to deduce anything inside. I just need to absorb and comprehend the laws of heaven and earth. Just now, a huge skeleton of a demonic beast appeared in the Yellow Spring River and woke me up. I'll continue cultivating later. Datura said. Your talent is really enviable. Don't worry. If you like it, I can even give you the evil Punisher land. Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. Thank you, Sister Xian'er. Datura raised his teacup at Lin Piaomiao. Lin Piaomiao smiled. She was very happy to be able to get along with Night Sorrow's wives like sisters. After chatting with Lin Piaomiao for a while, Datura entered the Yellow Spring River again. She had an extreme desire for strength. She wanted to fight side by side with Night Sorrow. Lin Piaomiao also started cultivating. She hoped that when Night Sorrow needed help, she could help Night Sorrow. Lin Piaomiao's clone returned to the ethereal imperial city from the heaven desolate city and met Wufeng. Wufeng was planning to go to the Nine Domains world to meet Night Sorrow. A few days ago, he went to meet the god-slaying team led by Sandalwood. The members of the god-slaying team cultivated very quickly. There was no problem for them to increase their cultivation level. However, they didn't have enough resources. This is a good thing. I'm just afraid that they won't be able to use up the resources. Here are 10 million Saint Spirit Stones. Give it to them. Also, go and find Elder Lan. Give them some elixirs. Lin Piaomiao said to Wufeng. As Night Sorrow's wife, Lin Piaomiao naturally knew how much Night Sorrow cared about their relationship and how much he wanted his brothers to rise. She didn't need to tell Night Sorrow anything that she could solve. Wufeng went to work while Lin Piaomiao went to the Nine Domains world. In the city in the sky of the Nine Domains world, Night Sorrow was guiding the children in their cultivation. Seeing Lin Piaomiao's arrival, the children all left, leaving Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao alone to talk. After chatting with Night Sorrow about the situation outside, Lin Piaomiao told him about the arrangement of the Heaven Desolate City's City Lord, and the other two for the Heaven Desolate War Halberd. That's great. I really like that weapon. It has a completely different feeling from the reincarnation spear, Night Sorrow said. When you come back, study it and see if you can fuse the two weapons, Lin Piaomiao suggested. I won't fuse them for now. The reincarnation spear has its own advantages while the Heaven Desolate War Halberd has its own dominance. When my cultivation level increases, I might be able to create a unique skill that belongs to the Heaven Desolate War Halberd, Night Sorrow said. As time passed, Night Sorrow's cultivation level continued to increase. This time, it was the destruction and nothingness attributes that increased. It could even be said that Night Sorrow's doppelganger couldn't sense his original body anymore. This was the phenomenon after entering a state of enlightenment. To cultivators, such a state was a dream to increase their cultivation level. Chapter 1898. To be honest, we didn't do anything when we came in. Zhuodong came to Night Sorrow and poured a glass of water for himself as he spoke. That's all I can do. The soldiers of the First Army would find a safe place to cultivate their realms while their clones would gather together to cultivate their battle techniques. I can only say that this operation isn't suitable for a team battle. The Void Purple Light Snake is a problem that the team can't deal with. Besides, when Mo Tianji appears again, she might be a middle-class emperor. She chased me for over a year as a low-class emperor. How are we going to fight her when she's a middle-class emperor? Can we fight above our ranks? She's the one who can fight above her level. Her realm is high, and we can't compare to her. We're no match for her even if we're at the same level. If she fights with a higher cultivation, we have no hope at all, said Yishan. I know. I'm not complaining. I just feel embarrassed. Those who could have been defeated were killed by you, and the rest are not. Zhuodong smiled bitterly. The Black Dragon Clan's team ran into Longjin. They were unlucky. After being suppressed by Longjin's bloodline, they didn't have much strength. It was a one-sided massacre, Yishang explained. Young Master Bai's team was indeed unlucky. If they had encountered the sergeants of the First Army, they would have had a 50% chance of winning. However, they were unlucky to have encountered Longjin. The Black Dragon race's bloodline was suppressed, and so was the Flying Serpent race's bloodline. Their strength was greatly reduced, and Night Sorrow, Longjin, and Tianyu were ruthless characters, so they were naturally killed. Captain, can't you slow down your cultivation? You're a 6-star emperor now. If you go up another rank, the First Army will have no captain. Don't become the captain with the shortest time. Chongjio said. I'm afraid I can't cultivate slower. However, we can talk to the Grand Elder. It's fine for an emperor to be the captain of the First Army, right? Rules are dead but people are alive. Night Sorrow said. Chongjio nodded. The captain of the First Army had been walking back and forth, causing the First Army to be unstable. In the 20th month of the reincarnation battlefield's opening, Mo Tianji entered the 8th star emperor rank under the acceleration of the time treasure, which was the middle-class emperor rank. It felt good to recover some of her power, but Mo Tianji was not happy. She had come too late, and she could not find Night Sorrow. The reincarnation battlefield was so big. Even if they kept moving, the chances of meeting each other were very low. If Night Sorrow wanted to hide, she would not be able to find him. Mo Tianji let out a sigh of relief. She didn't plan to look for it anymore. If it was her, she would definitely hide and wait for the reincarnation battlefield to appear. Mo Tianji also had some things to do. She needed to go to Demon Mountain. The dragon-headed people and snake-headed people there had the bloodline of the demon-winged race. After countless years of reproduction, they were already very powerful. The demon-winged race needed them. When they first entered the reincarnation battlefield, Missouri Tianji was in a hurry to find the Sky Desolation halberd, so she didn't go to Demon Mountain. In addition, her cultivation was not enough at that time. She was worried that the dragon-headed people and snake-headed people's progenitors would not be convinced. A 6-star emperor rank cultivation was not enough. If the dragon-headed people and snake-headed people's progenitors rebelled, she would be courting death. However, it was different now. She had cultivated to the 8-star emperor rank and possessed the pure noble soul of the demon-winged race. She had a natural suppression against the dragon-headed people and snake-headed people. Therefore, she was confident. Night Sorrow didn't know about this. His original body was still in a state of enlightenment. He was constantly absorbing the void and destruction, Heavenly Tao's momentum to strengthen his cultivation. Because of the destruction Heavenly Tao's momentum, the void purple light snake didn't go forward either because it didn't like this kind of aura. The reincarnation battlefield's appearance was getting closer and closer. The soldiers of the First Army were still cultivating. Night Sorrow told Lin Piaomiao to inform him when the reincarnation battlefield was out of the Nirvana Ocean and could tear open the spatial barrier to return. He wanted the soldiers of the First Army to leave immediately. Captain, our cultivation speed is very fast here. Can't we stay here for a few more days? Zhuodong asked. No, we must leave as soon as we can. This is an order. Night Sorrow looked at Zhuodong and said, I don't understand. White Mingming said. White Mingming, I think you are a little confused. The reincarnation battlefield is about to appear. The giants of various forces will definitely come here. What kind of place will this be? It's a super battlefield. We are all trash and will die if we are swept by the aftermath of the battle. When the experts of the demon-winged race come here, they will sweep us with their soul power, and we won't be able to hide. Then they will make 2 more moves and... Night Sorrow looked at White Mingming and said, It's too scary. Let's go. We have to go. White Mingming shrunk her neck. We didn't expect this. It's indeed scary. They will come here immediately. We have to leave as soon as possible. We can't be hit or caught by them. Zhuodong realized the seriousness of the problem. When the time is up, I will tear the space apart with my space magic treasure. We will run away. Night Sorrow said, Brother Shursan, your original body should come back as soon as possible. Tianyu said, My original body is staying in a good place. The environment there is bad, and no one will go there easily. The main thing is that my original body is in an epiphany. I can't stop. Besides, I am alone. I am not afraid. I practice the properties of nothingness and space-time, and I am good at surviving in the turbulence of space. I will go back after I finish my epiphany, Night Sorrow said. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Zhuodong and the others tried to persuade him but didn't say anything. Longjin and Tianyu simply didn't try to persuade him. They both understood Yishan. Yishan would never let go of such an opportunity to increase his strength. No one could persuade him otherwise. After making the plan, Night Sorrow practiced his spear skills every day. He was thinking about a new unique skill that was suitable for the infinite halberd. Considering the power of the infinite wasteland halberd that could destroy everything, Night Sorrow felt that it could be used as a unique technique. Night Sorrow focused on cultivating the primeval spear art. He then fused the vibration energy and wave energy into the primeval spear art. ZPF on 7. The sergeants of the First Army couldn't understand Night Sorrow's cultivation, but they could feel the power of Night Sorrow's spear art. Ripples constantly appeared around Night Sorrow's body. The ripples spread in all directions, sometimes causing the space to scream. It won't be long before 13th brother has a new lost art. I'm so envious, Tianyu said to Longjin, who was standing beside him. Our talent might be higher than his, but his hard work has completely made up for it. His comprehension ability is incomparable to ours. Didn't you notice that some of the things he used were researched by himself? Longjin said. Chapter 1899. Longjin and Tianyu looked at Night Sorrow, and understood after thinking for a while. They were both Imperial Emperor realm cultivators. There were some things that they just didn't think of, but it wasn't that they couldn't understand. Then in the tent, Night Sorrow wrote down his soul rhythm absolute art, and gave it to Longjin and Tianyu. Brother 13, is this an absolute art? Tianyu said in surprise as he held the handwritten copy of the soul defense absolute art that Night Sorrow had written. Is it important? Is it more important than you? Night Sorrow smiled. Longjin put away the manual, and was still thinking about Night Sorrow's words. He felt that dragon traversing 9 heavens was a little awkward. Could it be changed? Longjin, you have the same attribute as me. We are both of the void attribute. You can study the spear technique that I cultivate and use it as a reference to perfect your saber technique, Night Sorrow said to Longjin. My void attribute isn't complete. Actually, it's too rare for a complete supreme attribute to appear in this world. Even my uncle isn't one, Longjin said. It's not important whether it's complete or not. We can slowly deduce it. Take a look at my understanding of the void attribute first. Night Sorrow stabbed out with his finger, and executed the void extreme point kill. Then he explained the essence of the void attribute using a point to explode. Then he executed the void origin kill. The concepts of these two moves are completely opposite, but they seem to be related, Longjin said after thinking for a while. Night Sorrow nodded. Then he stabbed out with his finger and executed the void origin kill first before connecting it with the void origin kill. I feel guilty. Captain, you spent a lot of time and effort to come up with this technique. I'm just taking it, Longjin said. We are brothers. Let's not talk about this. Tianyu, I have a space-time attribute defensive absolute art here. Whether you can cultivate it or not depends on you. Even if you can't cultivate it, it's good to use it as a reference, Night Sorrow said to Tianyu. Yes, if I can't cultivate it, I'll use it as a reference. Tianyu nodded. Night Sorrow told Tianyu about the principles of cultivation in the space-time realm. Tianyu's cultivation direction was the space-time attribute. However, Night Sorrow's space-time realm absolute art was not only of the space-time attribute, but also of the void attribute. It was slightly different from the one used by the soul body in the Wasteland Tower. Longjin and Tianyu didn't say anything more. They remembered Night Sorrow's brotherly love for them. I'm a little busy right now. If you have time, you should go visit the other brothers of the God-slaying squad. I wonder how Liang Yu and Yin Huang are doing. Night Sorrow missed his brothers. It won't be a problem for Liang Yu and Yin Huang to enter the Emperor realm. It will probably take some time. The others are also working very hard. Yin Huang's Netherwolf is very powerful. Its cultivation is almost on par with his. Its battle moves are also very shameless. That thing can control people's bodies, Tianyu said. It's been a long time since we last chatted. I really do miss them, Night Sorrow said in a low voice. H update plus new plus fast plus D8 Longjin and Tianyu patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. They knew that Night Sorrow was a sentimental person. No matter what level his strength and status were, he would never forget his old brothers. Time passed slowly. The time of the reincarnation battlefield's appearance was getting closer and closer. The experts of the 100 Races Alliance and the Demon Wing clan were preparing to enter immediately. They would kill the other party's vanguard if they had the chance. Other than that, they would pick up their own people. The Black Dragons weren't prepared because the Black Dragons still didn't have the ability to fight head-on. His original body hadn't woken up. Night Sorrow knew that his original body would end his epiphany before he returned. His plan to return together had failed. He could only carry out the second plan. His original body would continue to stay there and cultivate. If the situation wasn't good, he would tear open space and return alone. Of course, this wasn't a bad thing. The longer he stayed in his epiphany, the higher his cultivation level would be. One had to know that his original body was undergoing a time acceleration of 30 times. An extra month of cultivation would be 2 years. On this day, Lin Piaomiao, who was at Night Sorrow's residence in Desolate City, received a message from the Grand Elder. In half a day, the reincarnation battlefield would appear in Nirvana Ocean. At that time, Night Sorrow would have to bring his people back immediately. The Desolate City Lord would go to the reincarnation battlefield directly. King Yawu would also send out 2 clones. One would accompany the Desolate City Lord into the reincarnation battlefield, while the other would patrol the Nirvana Ocean and wait for Night Sorrow's group. Lin Piaomiao immediately returned to the 9-domain world and informed Night Sorrow's clone of the situation. After receiving the news, Night Sorrow gathered the people of the First Army. This time we faced a lot of danger. The only thing left is to avoid being attacked by the demon-winged race on the way back. It's out of our control. Before entering, the Grand Elder had told Night Sorrow and the others that 2 years later, when the reincarnation battlefield trembled violently, they could tear open the space barrier and pass through the space turbulence to arrive above the celestial realm's Nirvana Ocean. Then they could fly back to the celestial realm by following the feeling of attraction. The reincarnation battlefield was an independent space world. Before it appeared, it was at the bottom of the Nirvana Ocean. After it appeared, the reincarnation battlefield would appear in an independent space above the Nirvana Ocean. After tearing open space and arriving above the Nirvana Ocean, one would be able to sense the affinity between the Desolate City Lord and the celestial realm. Then they could fly back. What they needed to pay attention to was interceptions. Now Night Sorrow's main concern was to avoid being intercepted. Then everything would be safe. Captain, don't think too much about these things. We've tried our best. If we're unlucky enough to be intercepted, it's our bad luck, Swadong said. All right. Let's enter the space world. Night Sorrow put everyone into the 8-dragon cauldron. Then he flew for a distance and dismantled the 2 dark hand teleportation formations. The interrealm teleportation formation stones could not be wasted. After doing all this, Night Sorrow held the Blood-Kirin evil-slaying spear and looked at the sky quietly. At this moment, Mo Tianji was standing in front of a mountain in the Devil Mountain region. Behind her was a group of dragon-headed and snake-headed people. In a moment, all you need to do is enter my spatial Dharma treasure. Mo Tianji looked at the space treasure in her hand and said, it was given to her by the dragon-headed ancestor, not Mo Tianji. Don't worry, Tianji, an old man with white hair and beard said. At this moment, the space trembled. Mo Tianji's white hair whipped out and shattered the space. Then she waved her hand and put all the dragon-headed and snake-headed people into her space treasure. Then, she entered the space turbulence. In another direction, Night Sorrow pierced through the space barrier with his spear and entered the space turbulence. In the space turbulence, the energy surged violently. However, it was chaotic and not very aggressive. Night Sorrow used the space ren to increase his speed. After a while, Night Sorrow found the space barrier. Once again, he tore it apart with his spear. Night Sorrow entered the 8-dragon cauldron and controlled it to pass through the space barrier and arrive above the Nirvana Ocean. Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow heard the shout as soon as he appeared in the celestial realm. Chapter 1900. Martial Uncle. Night Sorrow appeared. Originally, he planned to dive into the Nirvana Ocean to observe the situation and avoid jumping into the enemy's trap. Didn't they run into someone who was waiting for them? Fortunately, they were on the same side. You're quite cautious. Why is it a clone? King Yawu's energy wrapped around Night Sorrow and started flying. Night Sorrow told King Yawu about his main body's situation. Are you sure that area is safe? King Yawu was a little worried. Before this, he didn't know that Night Sorrow's main body was in a state of enlightenment. It's safe. The surrounding tens of thousands of kilometers is filled with void violet light serpents. It's also filled with spatial tears and disillusionment vortexes. Soul probing is greatly restricted. No one would be so bored as to run in there. Night Sorrow said. That's good. The devil-winged race and the black dragons might return after receiving their men. Enter the land of reincarnation to fight? We're not afraid of fighting early, but they might not be able to, King Yawu said in a low voice. King Yawu's location was very accurate. It was the location determined by the City Lord's great prophecy technique. King Yawu and Night Sorrow returned to the City of Desolation. His other clone and the City Lord had already entered the reincarnation battlefield. Night Sorrow transferred everyone out of the 8-dragon cauldron and told them to return to their encampment to rest. Mo Tianji left the reincarnation battlefield in another direction and met Mo Yutian and Mo Zhantian. They were here to receive Mo Tianji. Mo Tianji gave the spatial treasure that the dragon-headed ancestor gave her to Mo Yutian. Then, she transferred everyone out of her spatial treasure for Mo Yutian to bring back. Tianji, what are you trying to do? Mo Yutian asked. Let's make it short. I'm going to the celestial realm, because there are some problems that need to be solved. Mo Tianji quickly explained why she wanted to go to the celestial realm. Right now they have a blockade. However, because the Nirvana Ocean is currently in a state of chaos, the blockade isn't too tight. Follow this direction. Although it's a little far, it's still relatively safe. Mo Yutian didn't try to persuade Mo Tianji. Now was indeed a good time to sneak into the celestial realm. Mo Tianji flashed and left. She had to make the best use of her time. Once the Nirvana storm on the Nirvana Sea recovered, it would be difficult to enter the celestial realm again. Watching Mo Tianji leave, Mo Yutian and Mo Zhantian looked at each other. They had no choice but to let Mo Tianji take the risk. She had a reason to go to the celestial realm, whether it was for public or private reasons. After the black dragons and flying serpents appeared, they ran towards the celestial realm. They were running for their lives. Mo Tianji, who was flying over the Nirvana Ocean, took out a special cloak and covered her body and hair. She maintained a distance from the black dragons as she flew. She knew that the black dragons and the Celestial Realm's 100 Races Alliance didn't get along well. However, the 100 Races Alliance hadn't reached the point of killing the black dragons yet. After flying for a while, Mo Tianji changed her direction and blended into the same area as the black dragons. She was trying to avoid the blockade of the Celestial Realm by the 100 Races Alliance. Now, she was changing her direction to avoid being discovered by the black dragons. Night Sorrow returned to his residence. Pu Luo and Fen Tian were very happy to see Night Sorrow. Where are the great demon king Yu Zhu and Ruisi? Night Sorrow asked after sitting down. During your absence, the Humanitarian League sought stability. The great demon king was preparing to undergo the heavenly tribulation. Ruisi and Yu Zhu also went back to increase their strength. Knowing that you're back, they'll be here soon, Pu Luo said. Then I'm relieved. Night Sorrow nodded. There's one more thing. Not far from the ethereal imperial city's Night Moon Villa, there's a woman who has concealed her aura. She has been monitoring the Night Moon Villa. I observed her from afar and confirmed that she speaks the dragon language, Lin Piaomiao said. The dragon language has appeared. Let's not mention this to anyone else. I'll go back and take a look, Night Sorrow said. When it came to the black dragons, things were more serious. The banishment last time was an example. Night Sorrow hated the black dragons. If it were other black dragons, Night Sorrow would have killed them. However, the dragon language was different. That was his friend. After Night Sorrow left, Pu Luo stood up. Fen Tian, get someone to inform the great demon king, Ruisi and Yu Zhu. Tell them that the Alliance Master is back. Also, I need to go to the ethereal imperial city. The news of the dragon language must be sealed. I'll help the Alliance Master clean up the traces. I'll go back with you, Lin Piaomiao said. Pu Luo nodded. With the appearance of the dragon language, the aftermath of this matter was very important. Lin Piaomiao was the overlord of the ethereal imperial city. It would be more convenient for her to deal with this matter. Night Sorrow returned to the ethereal imperial city. Just as he arrived at the entrance of the Night Moon Villa, the dragon language in a black cloak appeared. He didn't say anything. Hair. Night Sorrow brought the dragon language into the Night Moon Villa without saying anything. He then went to a quiet loft. Because of me, you were exiled to the infinite wasteland by the 100 Races Alliance for 8 years. I'm sorry. Dragon language bowed to Night Sorrow. We're friends. This matter is nothing. I went out for a period of time. When I heard from Piao that you had appeared, I hurried back. You have to hide now. You can't show your face, Night Sorrow said. It seems that no matter how deep the hatred between you and the Black Dragons is, you still treat me, the dragon language, as a friend, Dragon language said. Yes, the Black Dragons are the Black Dragons. The dragon language is the dragon language. These are two different matters. Night Sorrow nodded. I came to find you to tell you something. When I reached the Emperor realm, I went to investigate my background and why the Black Dragons betrayed the Celestial realm. I have some clues now, but I've also been exposed. Not only is the 100 Races Alliance looking for me, but the Black Dragons are also looking for me, Dragon language said. Night Sorrow poured a cup of tea for the dragon language. He knew that the dragon language must have found something. Then the dragon language told Night Sorrow that before the Black Dragons reincarnated, there was an outstanding Black Dragon King. The Black Dragon's strength and reputation were mostly due to him. Because he was powerful, it was difficult for his bloodline to continue. His wife gave birth to 2 dragon eggs, but they couldn't hatch. One of them fell into the hands of the Demon-Winged clan. All these years, the Black Dragons had been controlled by the Demon-Winged clan because of their ancestors' bloodline. You mean the Black Dragons are innocent? They were controlled by the Demon-Winged clan because they had no choice? Night Sorrow was stunned. He didn't expect there to be such a reason. Not really. It was like that at first, but later it changed. They secretly married each other. The current Black Dragon King, Long Zhe, has the bloodline of the Demon-Winged clan, Dragon language said. So complicated? Night Sorrow's expression changed. If the Black Dragon King had the bloodline of the Demon-Winged clan, then the Black Dragons and the 100 Races Alliance would fight to the death. Chapter 1901. So that's how it is. We can't continue investigating. Your safety is the most important thing. Now that I know the general situation, I know what to do, Night Sorrow said. My safety is the most important thing. Perhaps that's why I'm not worried about you. Dragon language felt very secure looking at Night Sorrow. After Dragon language left the Devil Blood realm, many things happened. She didn't know who to trust. She couldn't even trust her own people, but she trusted Night Sorrow. We're friends. Let's go. I'll send you to the Primal Chaos realm. Night Sorrow didn't want dragon language to stay in the Celestial realm, because the Celestial realm wasn't safe. I heard that your god-slaying squad has been working hard to cultivate. I've seen their aura and spirit back then. I want to join, Dragon language said. All right. The current captain of the god-slaying squad is also a member of the dragons. I'll talk to him about this. After thinking about it, Night Sorrow felt that the god-slaying squad was safe enough. Even if the Primal Chaos realm was infiltrated, the god-slaying squad wouldn't be infiltrated. He had Night Moon Villa's Ji Daogo and Call Longjin and Tianyu over. Night Sorrow introduced dragon language to them. I'm Longjin. Although I hate the Black Dragons, I respect my brother's friends. From today onwards, you're our brother and sister. We'll have fun together and kill enemies together. Night Sorrow extended his hand to dragon language. We'll kill enemies together and have fun together. I remember that you were very weak during the realm war, Dragon language said after a formal handshake. That was then and this is now. Captain, don't worry. With us brothers around, no one can touch dragon language. Longjin coughed and said to Night Sorrow, make sure to hide her identity. Let's go to the god-slaying squad's cultivation base together. Night Sorrow thought for a while, and decided to visit his brothers and sisters in the god-slaying squad himself. Lin Pumiao appeared as well. The group arrived near the Eye of the Storm, where the god-slaying team was stationed. The members of the god-slaying squad were all very happy to see Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow was naturally the same. Zhan Tan, Mo Chun, and Guan Yi were his 3 senior brothers. Qin Zhen, Liang Yu, Yin Huang, and Qian Yu were all his brothers. Everyone is working hard, but remember, you have to know when to relax, Night Sorrow said as he looked at the group of people. Yes, there are some bottlenecks that can't be helped. Qingjun said. He was now at the monarch realm, but he couldn't cultivate to the peak and enter the heavenly monarch realm. This situation was very common in the god-slaying team. Liang Yu and Yin Huang were also stuck in the same situation, unable to take the step from the monarch realm to the heaven monarch realm. Brothers, my aptitude is not bad, right? Becoming a heavenly monarch means that you have the potential to become one. However, I've been stuck at the bottleneck for millions of years. Do the math. I've been in jail for 5 million years, Zhan Tan said with a smile. Eldest senior brother, don't put us down like that. 5 million years? That's too scary, Imochen said. They all addressed Zhan Tan as eldest senior brother just like Night Sorrow. Haha, I'm not putting you down. I'm just giving you confidence, Zhan Tan said with a smile. Who are we? We are members of the god-slaying team, the most outstanding group of cultivators in the world. There's nothing we can't do. However, we can't ask too much of ourselves. Look, how many emperors are there in the ethereal empire? They have been accumulating for countless years or even epochs, Night Sorrow said. Everyone drank tea and chatted. They had been brothers for too long and had walked through life and death situations. They were friends who had gone through life and death situations. Night Sorrow and Long Jin also introduced the dragon language to everyone. They also mentioned some things to take note of. The dragon language couldn't be known to outsiders. After chatting with everyone for a while, Night Sorrow decided to leave. Long Jin and Tianyu decided to stay. They also needed to cultivate and settle down. Only Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao wanted to leave. Leader, thank you for the Saint Spirit Stones. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to keep up, Liang Yu said. You don't have enough Saint Spirit Stones? Yi Shang was stunned. Yeah. So many of our brothers leveled up because of King's level. Plus, we used up a lot of space treasures. However, the 10 million Saint Spirit Stones you asked Wu Feng Mansion Master to give us should be enough for us to use for a long time, Liang Yu said. Night Sorrow slapped his forehead. I'm sorry, brothers. It was my negligence that we didn't have enough resources. I didn't know about the 10 million Saint Spirit Stones. I'll take note of the resources in the future. Leader, you didn't know about the 10 million Saint Spirit Stones? Then it's not appropriate for us to use their resources. Yin Huang looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. There's nothing inappropriate about it. I was the one who gave it to Wu Feng. What's mine is Night Sorrow's. When Night Sorrow isn't around, you can tell me anything, Lin Piaomiao said. Thank you, 13th Aunt. Qingjun and the rest shouted. Qingjun used to be a man of few words. However, it was different now. He was happy to be with his brothers. Night Sorrow left. When he got on the teleportation array, he didn't turn around. He just waved his arm. I can't see the leader's cultivation. The gap is getting bigger. I wonder when we can fight together again, Ho Jian said with some emotion. Don't give yourself pressure. The leader wants us to live well. If we feel pressured because of this, the leader won't feel comfortable, Lei Bao said. You're smart for once. Liang Yu patted Lei Bao's shoulder. Long Jin, tell us. How did you go on a killing spree with the leader this time? Tianyu asked Long Jin. Tianyu and Long Jin came from the 9 Firmament World Group, so they were more familiar with each other. It went very smoothly this time. However, it should be the most embarrassing time since I met the leader. We were chased for a year. Tianyu and I took turns to run. For more than a year, we were flying most of the time. Long Jin laughed loudly. What's the situation? You were chased for a year? Everyone's interest was piqued when they heard Long Jin's words. In their minds, it was always Night Sorrow who chased after others. That's an old woman. Her cultivation is an emperor. Do you know what an emperor is? Can we kill her? If we can outrun her, it's actually a win, Tianyu said. When Tianyu said that, everyone was stunned. What kind of concept was an emperor? Everyone was clear. That's not an ordinary emperor. The leader can kill an ordinary emperor. That emperor is one of the 3 great heavens of the Demon Wing clan, Mo Tianji. She's a soul recultivator and her combat power is super strong, Tianyu explained again. He felt that this matter wasn't embarrassing at all. Night Sorrow and Lin Piamiao returned to Tianhuang City, because there were still many things to do. Night Sorrow had just entered the mansion when he saw the Grand Elder and King Yewu. After greeting them, Night Sorrow told them about the operation and the current state of his main body. Epiphany. This is very rare. Tell Uncle the approximate area. When Uncle went over, the Demon Wing clan didn't enter the reincarnation battlefield. Uncle didn't fight, King Yewu said. He was worried about Night Sorrow's safety. Chapter 1902. Night Sorrow took out the map written by Lingling. He marked out the approximate area he was in and handed it to King Yewu. Alright, don't worry and cultivate. Uncle's clone is on the Demon Mountain. He'll be there later, King Yewu said. I'm sorry for the delay because of my own cultivation. Night Sorrow bowed to King Yewu and the Grand Elder. The Grand Elder reached out and helped Night Sorrow up. It's a good thing to have an epiphany. This time, your uncle will guard you. I'll do it next time. Thank you, Grand Elder. Thank you, Uncle. There's no problem with the item. It's always been with me, Night Sorrow said. From your point of view, it's not necessarily the safest choice for the clone of the human sovereign skeleton to hold on to. You're right, King Yewu said. Night Sorrow brewed a pot of tea, and then told King Yewu and the Grand Elder about the journey to the reincarnation battlefield. This time, not only did you get the human sovereign skeleton, but you also got the Infinite Desolation halberd. For the fate of the Infinite Desolation and the Celestial Realm, our advantage will become more obvious as time passes, the Grand Elder said. But the demon ancestor's soul fragment is still there. It's a big hidden danger, Night Sorrow expressed his concern. You don't have to worry about that. The demon ancestor was defeated by the human sovereign when he was at his peak. Now he's just a remnant soul. If he dares to come out and cause trouble, the remnant soul will be destroyed, King Yewu said with confidence. Okay, then I'm relieved. Night Sorrow nodded. Don't worry and cultivate. Uncle saw your real body, but this void purple light snake is really difficult to deal with. After King Yewu finished speaking, he left Night Sorrow's residence with the Grand Elder. Uncle is here. You're absolutely safe, Lin Piamiao said with a smile. She felt a lot more at ease. Puluo and Funtian returned. Puluo cleaned up the traces of the dragon language, while Funtian patrolled the area of influence of the Humanitarian League. While they were drinking tea and chatting, people came back one after another. First it was Yuju and Ruisi. Then it was the Great Demon King in a black robe. I've been busy for 2 years and you all ran away. Night Sorrow stood up and poured tea for them. Why don't you run for another 2 years? By the time you come back, I'll already be an Imperial Tribulation cultivator. The Great Demon King said after finishing the tea in one gulp. Have you passed the 8 tribulations of the heavenly law? Puluo asked the Great Demon King. Yes, after passing the 7 and 8 tribulations of the heavenly Tao, there's quite a lot of room for improvement. That's why I didn't attempt the 9 tribulations of the heavenly Tao. I should complete it in the next few years. The Great Demon King nodded. Recently he had been frantically increasing his strength. Then, Yuju said that she had good news to tell everyone. After extorting a bag of tea from Night Sorrow and a jar of wine from the Great Demon King, she told everyone that her subordinates had seen the Sky Limit Saint Emperor in Baichuyuan's White Emperor City. Hearing this, the Great Demon King stood up immediately. Old bastard, you're finally not hiding anymore. Alright, let's go kill him. Night Sorrow didn't want anyone from the Sky Limit sect to escape the net. That would be a threat to the Ethereal Empire and Star Moon Lake. The Great Demon King waved his hand, and didn't let Night Sorrow follow him. He set off with Ruisi. The Great Demon King will settle it. You have a lot of things to do, so stay calm for a while. When you're in a state of enlightenment, your doppelgangers will fight fiercely. It's easy for your main body to wake up prematurely. Then it won't be worth it, Lin Piamiao said. Yuju smiled. You have to know that the Great Demon King has already passed the 8 tribulations of the heavenly law. Back then, before he passed the tribulation, he already killed that guy. Now that he's gone, he'll directly solve the problem. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow nodded. He wasn't worried that the Great Demon King wouldn't be able to deal with Ling Tianji. He just wanted to kill him once. After chatting with Puluo and Ruisi for a while, Night Sorrow left the mansion. After thinking for a while, he went to the high tower where the Grand Elder was. At this moment, in the small space world inside the high tower, King Yawu and the Grand Elder were talking about the Demon Mountain situation, as well as the results of searching the memories of the dragon-headed man and snake-headed man after capturing them. That means that the Black Dragon's betrayal has something to do with their bloodline. Is this a deep collusion? The Grand Elder frowned. If bloodline was involved, then the problem was serious. Noticing Night Sorrow's arrival, the Grand Elder opened the door to the small space world and let Night Sorrow in. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at King Yawu and the Grand Elder. I have something to say. At the same time, I hope that Martial Uncle and Grand Elder won't make things difficult for an innocent person. Say it. If you think it's innocent, we will naturally consider it. King Yawu nodded. Night Sorrow told them about the appearance of the dragon language, as well as the results of the investigation of the dragon language. The outstanding Black Dragon King from the previous reincarnation was Ao Yang. Ao Yang's son was lost? Is the current dragon-headed man related to Ao Yang's bloodline? King Yawu's face was full of shock. 2 black dragon eggs, one is lost. What about the other one? Which of the black dragons did the other one belong to? The Grand Elder also had questions. Night Sorrow doesn't know about this. I only know that the current Black Dragon King Long Zhe is definitely on the side of the Demon Wing clan. I don't want to say the specific dragon language, and I don't want to force my friend to say anything, Night Sorrow said. The dragon language. She didn't mix with the black dragons. That's for sure. Now let's see how to deal with this matter, King Yawu said. Talk to the city lord and see if it's necessary to attack the black dragons and release the imprisoned black dragons. If it's possible, then the truth will be revealed to the world, the Grand Elder said after thinking for a while. Night Sorrow didn't say anything else. He just told them what he knew. He didn't care about the next plans and arrangements. It wasn't something he could control. Seeing King Yawu and the Grand Elder pondering, Night Sorrow left the small space world. Night Sorrow felt a little uneasy, but he didn't know the reason. There was originally some danger in his original body's epiphany, but with King Yawu's arrival, it was absolutely safe. Mo Tianji smoothly arrived in the celestial realm. This allowed her to let out a sigh of relief. She had a chance of accomplishing some of the following things. Mo Tianji was a smart person. In the desolate heaven domain, she was a wise person. After arriving in the celestial realm, she was very cautious and knew that there were some places she couldn't go. The desolate heaven domain and the divine capital were places she couldn't go. Her aura could easily be discovered by the giants of the 100 Race Alliance. She was only a middle-class emperor and couldn't fight against some experts. Once she was exposed, some plans couldn't be carried out in secret. Mo Tianji's main target was Night Sorrow. The desolate heaven domain halberd and her original body were both in Night Sorrow's hands. If she took back her body, she could return to her peak state. If she also took back the desolate heaven domain halberd, she wouldn't be afraid of anyone. Chapter 1903. Mo Tianji knew a little about Night Sorrow. Back then, Ma Tiantu's group of monarchs had dug up some information about Night Sorrow. Mo Tianji realized that her attire was very eye-catching. Her white hair was 30,000 feet long. Who would look like her? After thinking for a while, Mo Tianji exhaled and changed her body's energy. Her white hair hid in her body, and then she activated her energy. Black hair that reached her waist appeared. The black hair covered her white hair. She took off her black cloak and changed into a loose white robe. It was her casual attire when she was resting. After entering a city and buying a map of the celestial realm, Mo Tianji teleported to the ethereal dynasty. She planned to enter Night Sorrow's 9 Zones world first. As long as she entered the 9 Zones world and destroyed the teleportation formation, the 9 Zones world would be her territory. In the 9 Zones world, Night Sorrow had many weaknesses. As long as she took down his family and friends, Night Sorrow would be obedient. Knight Sorrow stayed in the desolate city every day to practice the intense spear art. He was creating the ultimate art for the desolate war halberd. It was a good thing for Knight Sorrow that the main body's epiphany didn't end. On Knight Sorrow's day, the great demon king and Ruesi returned after he finished practicing the spear art. How was it? Knight Sorrow asked. It went well. Ling Tianji's main body and doppelganger were all killed. Bai Qiuyuan's main body was also killed. However, the great demon king was too inhumane. When Bai Qiuyuan was about to die, he forced me to hit him with a brick. I have to apologize to the Grand Elder later. Ruesi looked at the great demon king with resentment. We are all brothers in the Humanitarian League. We have to go through thick and thin together. Do you think you can just watch me kill someone? Then when I come back and the Grand Elder scolds me, you will be fine. You are overthinking. The great demon king acted as if he didn't see Ruesi's gaze. After drinking a pot of tea, the demon king and Ruesi went to report to the Grand Elder. They had to inform the Grand Elder about killing Bai Zongyuan. Pu Luo, how's my Aunt Fei's coronation? Knight Sorrow asked. It's very lively. All the 100 races have sent representatives. Other than you, the leader of the Humanitarian League, the other 6 elders have all arrived. In addition to your gift, our Humanitarian League has also prepared other gifts, so it won't be a problem. Pu Luo told Knight Sorrow about the situation at that time. J Mos Q New Chapter 50 Q above asterisk thank you. This is the first time I've broken my promise to someone. It's the first time I've failed to keep my promise to someone. Knight Sorrow felt a little regretful in his heart, because he really didn't want to disappoint Wu Lingfei. The Ice Phoenix matriarch can understand. After hearing about what happened to you, she was very worried, Pu Luo said. Knight Sorrow nodded. Now that things had come to this, he could only wait for his main body to come out of seclusion and find time to go again. After a while, the Demon King and Ruesi returned. The two of them didn't have any shame on their faces after being reprimanded. Instead, they were full of anger. What happened? Pu Luo asked. We met that old bastard Yu Kuan. He said all sorts of unpleasant things, saying that the two of us are the black sheep of the herd, Ruesi said angrily. Then the two of you aren't going to do anything to him? Fun Tian returned from outside, and just happened to hear Ruesi's words. Do we directly attack him in front of the Grand Elder? If it's not in front of the Grand Elder, we'll do it directly, Ruesi said. Pu Luo laughed. This isn't a big deal. Looks like this Yu Kuan needs to be dealt with. He can't always be by the Grand Elder's side, right? This idiot always wants to slap our Humanitarian League's face. Then there's no need for us to be polite. Revenge doesn't wait overnight. Keep an eye on him and deal with him tonight, Knight Sorrow said. League Master, this joke won't work. If we touch him, we'll inevitably be scolded by the Council of Elders. It's not worth it. The Demon King looked at Knight Sorrow with surprise in his eyes. This wasn't something that Knight Sorrow would say. The Humanitarian League was built by us. We have a clear conscience. The Humanitarian League is also our face. If we hit anyone who wants to hit us, how can we still survive? We'll deal with him tonight. I hate him from the bottom of my heart. He's not a good person. I'll bear all the consequences. Knight Sorrow's thoughts were very firm. Since League Master said so, then let's deal with him. He almost killed us last time, and now he's still so arrogant. He really thinks he's a dish. After listening to Knight Sorrow's words, the Demon King's blood rushed to his head. Pu Luo, if it's inconvenient for you, then don't go. We'll deal with him without a problem. Lin Piamiao looked at Pu Luo. After all, Yu Kuan and Pu Luo were both law enforcement elders of the Council of Elders. She was worried that there were some things that Pu Luo couldn't face. What do you mean it's inconvenient for me? If he wants to go against the Humanitarian League, then it's convenient for me at any time. Pu Luo said with a smile. At this time, the Grand Elder came to Lu Qi's residence. He waved his hand and asked Lu Qi, who was about to make tea, to sit down. Grand Elder, what's the matter? Lu Qi took the empty teapot and sat down. The Grand Elder told Lu Qi about Yu Kuan's suppression of the Demon King and Ruesi. Grand Elder, I don't quite understand. The Humanitarian League's reputation is at its peak. Although it's a little flamboyant, It's in line with the heavens and humanity. Yukuan shouldn't be doing this at this time. Lu Qi said with some confusion. Some things don't have evidence, but it doesn't mean that they don't exist. I'm too lazy to investigate the details. Let the Humanitarian League deal with it, and the matter will be over. I came to you because I think the Humanitarian League will make a move soon. You have to watch the situation, and don't let it escalate. The Grand Elder said. Okay, Lu Qi understands. Lu Qi nodded. After the Grand Elder left, Lu Qi sighed. There were some things that he knew and had been through his hands. One of them was investigating Yukuan. Back then, Lin Piaomiao and the Demon King led people to fight against the Demon-Winged clan in Mount Tianhuang. Under Yukuan's strong command, the entire army was almost wiped out. It was Pu Luo who led people and pulled them back from the brink of death. After the investigation, the mobilization of people at that time couldn't be justified. It didn't conform to common sense, and it shouldn't have been because of Yukuan. There were also a few incidents that shouldn't have happened. Without exception, they all happened to Yukuan. The Demon King was the one who arranged to keep an eye on Yukuan. He had 3 groups of people in Mount Tianhuang. There was no problem in keeping an eye on Yukuan. After the moon rose, Night Sorrow led people out of the mansion. Yukuan was still in Mount Tianhuang. He was looking at a compass in a daze. He was holding the yin-yang compass. The yin-yang compass was yin and yang. As long as one moved, the other would move too. After arriving near Yukuan's mansion, Pu Luo first entered Yukuan's mansion. Pu Luo, are you here on behalf of the Humanitarian League? Yukuan asked. That's right. Let me ask you, do you have to stick your nose in our Humanitarian League's business? Pu Luo's face, which was originally full of smiles, was now very serious. I'm the law enforcement elder of the 100 Races Alliance's Council of Elders. It's normal for me to meddle in anything, right? Yukuan asked back. Chapter 1904. Zhang Ziwen unsealed Pu Luo was here to kill. If Yukuan had a better attitude, Pu Luo would have hesitated. But Yukuan was stubborn. Pu Luo had no reason to be polite. Pu Luo, are you crazy? Yukuan retreated, his eyes full of shock. He didn't expect Pu Luo to attack. In the past, Pu Luo was famous for his good temper. He was sunny, kind, and easy to get along with. But now? They were 2 completely different things. Pu Luo attacked violently. I'm crazy? You're the crazy one. Is your brain full of shit? You want to slap the Humanitarian League's face? Pu Luo kept attacking with his fists. Pu Luo's fists weren't divine weapons, but they were stronger than divine weapons. His fists were extremely fierce. His fists shattered Yukuan's mansion. At this time, the housekeeper of Yukuan's mansion attacked Pu Luo. I'll stop him. Go find someone to stop him. A random subordinate is an Emperor Tribulation cultivator. Yukuan, you've hidden yourself well. Pu Luo was surprised. He punched the housekeeper with his left hand. At the same time, he sent a message to Night Sorrow and the others. He wanted to capture this housekeeper alive. They were likely to investigate Yukuan's background. Pu Luo continued to attack Yukuan. Go inform the Grand Elder. Yukuan shouted at the housekeeper. He wanted to find the Grand Elder, but Pu Luo didn't let him. The housekeeper couldn't restrain Pu Luo. As soon as the housekeeper left the mansion, a spatial crack appeared in front of him. Then several figures appeared. Domain suppression and absolute art control. Following which, 5 shining golden bricks of human Tao appeared. Following which, this housekeeper's head, chin, back of his head, chest, and back were struck. His body went soft as he fell to the ground and fainted. 5 people hit the bricks. Night Sorrow didn't do anything because 5 people were enough. Humanitarian League, you won with more people. Aren't you afraid of losing face? Yukuan's face changed. He knew that today was his doom. The Humanitarian League really wanted to mess with him. Losing face? I don't think so. As long as you're not stupid, you know that it doesn't matter how many people you hit. You, Yukuan, are no different from a mad dog when you open your mouth and bite people. Rui Si threw out a harsh sentence, making Yukuan's face turn red. Lu Qi, who was watching from afar, shook his head. He didn't expect Rui Si, who usually didn't speak much, to say such words. Puluo, I won't give you a chance to practice alone and prove yourself. Take him down and end this quickly, the great demon king shouted at Puluo. What do I have to prove? That I'm stronger than him? Everyone in the Council of Elders knows this. Why do we need any proof? Everyone, get to work. Puluo replied to the great demon king. He realized that many people had appeared around him, so he had to end the battle quickly. The commotion caused by the battle was huge. The elders of the Council of Elders, as well as some law enforcers and deacons, all discovered it. However, they were stopped outside by a law enforcer team led by Lu Qi. Yukurin used a clone, but it wasn't enough. He was an Emperor Tribulation level cultivator. In terms of strength, he wasn't as strong as Puluo. The Great Demon King and Lin Piaomiao were both close to the Emperor Tribulation level, and had the strength to fight above their level. He couldn't stop them. The battle was very fierce. The area was destroyed, and Yukuin was heavily injured. His clone was killed, and his head was split in half by the Great Demon King. Stop immediately. The Grand Elder won't allow you to mess around. This is a lose-lose situation, Yukuin shouted. He would be a fool if he still couldn't see the situation. The onlookers also knew that Knight Sorrow and the others weren't here to educate Yukuin. They were here to kill him. Seventh Elder. Why didn't you stop them? Yukuin shouted at Lu Qi when he noticed him. Lu Qi was a disciplined elder. If he stopped them, Knight Sorrow and the others would give him face. Why should I stop them? If you have a conflict, then solve it. We'll talk about it after that. If there's a conflict within the 100 Races Alliance, it's better to solve it first. Lu Qi didn't care. He was here to carry out the Grand Elder's arrangement and not let the situation escalate. Lu Qi, you despicable person. You're a disciplined elder. How can you be bribed? Yukurin was furious. He knew that Lu Qi didn't want to care about him. Hurry up. Yuzhu shouted. Then her sword changed. She used her ultimate move. She was worried that a long delay would lead to trouble. As Yuzhu used her ultimate move, the people from the Humanitarian League also used their ultimate moves. Knight Sorrow used the Soul Destruction Crescent Moonblade and slashed at Yukuin. As Knight Sorrow and the others used their ultimate moves, Yukuin naturally couldn't take it. Puluo's fist shattered his spiritual sea. The Great Demon King's weapon also pierced his dantian. Puluo quickly collected the spoils of war. Storage rings, weapons, and Dharma treasures. These were all spoils of war. This is the result of going against the Humanitarian League. If you don't like it, then try it, Ruisi shouted at the crowd. Slap. Puluo slapped the back of Ruisi's head. Are you stupid? Do you think that the disturbance is small, and that you want to make some enemies for the Humanitarian League? Looking at the other people staring at him, Reese knew that his attempt to establish his authority had failed miserably. It was completely untimely. Retreat. Knight Sorrow shouted. The few of them left Yukuin's mansion. Of course, it wasn't a mansion anymore. It was a ruin. When they passed by Lu Qi, Knight Sorrow threw a jar of wine to him. Then they quickly left the area. Ruisi's shouting was stopped by Puluo. However, everyone watching the battle knew that they couldn't provoke the Humanitarian League. The Humanitarian League really didn't give them any face. They were ruthless and underhanded. No matter who it was, they were serious. In terms of status and identity, Yukurin was already very high. In the Elders Association, other than the Grand Elder and the 7 Elders, the Elder of Law Enforcement had the highest status. But so what? He was directly killed. Lu Qi sighed as he held the jar of wine in his hand. He knew that if he didn't handle it well, his reputation would be ruined tonight. It would be ruined by this jar of wine. The onlookers didn't know that it was the Grand Elder's order. They all thought that he had been roped in by the Humanitarian League. Evidence. This jar of wine was the evidence. After leaving the area of Yukurin's mansion, Knight Sorrow didn't return to his mansion directly. Instead, he brought Puluo, the Great Demon King, and the others to the First Army's encampment. When they arrived at the encampment, Knight Sorrow called White Mingmeng, and by Lingling to the commander's office. Then he threw out the unconscious Yukuin's butler. Mingmeng, Lingling, do me a favor. Check his soul memory. If there's anything that's not beneficial to the 100 Races Alliance, or something that can't be exposed, record it down. Night Sorrow said to White Meng Meng and Bai Lingling. At this time, Tianyu and Long Jin also arrived in the tent. Before Night Sorrow could say anything, they each pressed on one of the butler's shoulders. The Great Demon King held the human Dao gold brick, squatted in front of the butler's head, and waved his hand again. Don't worry. Carry out the investigation. He definitely won't wake up. Could he wake up? As soon as there were signs of him waking up, the gold brick would go straight to his head. Search Cool Craftsman on WeChat, follow the name of the new work, and read the full text. They. Chapter 1905. Zhang Ziwen unsealed White Meng Meng made a move. She used the Nine-Tailed Fox clan's soul illusion technique to attack Yukuan's spirit sea. Would an Emperor Tribulation Realm cultivator be someone's butler? It didn't make sense, so Night Sorrow asked White Meng Meng and the others to check their memories. Seeing White Meng Meng begin to check, Night Sorrow went to the side to study the things left behind by Yukuan. Yukuan was dead, so his storage ring was naturally ownerless. Night Sorrow took the things outside one by one. Yin-Yang compass. There's something wrong with this thing. Pu Luo picked up the Yin-Yang compass that Night Sorrow put aside and said, "What's this?" Night Sorrow looked at Pu Luo and asked, "It's a messenger. No matter how far it is, when the Yin compass and the Yang compass move, the other one will move as well." Pu Luo said, "This only shows that it's possible. It's mainly because of that guy's memories." Night Sorrow was stunned when he said this. At this moment, White Meng Meng had already used her illusion technique. She grabbed Yukuan's head with her left hand and dragged a memory crystal ball with her right hand. The crystal ball contained the butler's memories. The city in the image was different from what Night Sorrow knew. This wasn't the most important thing. The most important thing was that the people in the image all had a single horn and 2 wings. They were from the Demon Wing clan. What did this mean? It meant that this butler wasn't from the Celestial Realm, but from the Demon Wing clan. The Great Demon King moved his left hand, and an energy shattered Yukuan's hairpin. Then he pulled it. Night Sorrow and the others saw that there was no hair in the center of Yukuan's hairpin. There was a scar. It's the same as the Demon Wing clan's Imperial Emperor team. He's from the Demon Wing clan after the broken horn and wings. I just don't know when this guy sneaked in, Night Sorrow said. This evidence is enough. With the Demon Wing clan's Emperor Tribulation Realm cultivator as his trusted aide, how could Yukuan be a good person? Ha! Pu Luo said with a laugh. Keep your voice down and see if you can dig out more. Yu Zhu glared at Pu Luo. Yu Zhu, you're so mean. When I was a law enforcer, you and Reese lived a good life. I did all the work myself. Now you're glaring at me. That's too sad. Pu Luo sighed. Hey, don't be sad. Once we're done with this guy, I'll treat you to tea at the Twilight Tea House. Let's go to the best restaurant, Yu Zhu said. Our Cool Craftsman. Net original first. Looking at Yu Zhu, Pu Luo smiled. They had known each other for a long time, so even if it was a joke, Yu Zhu would not let him down. Everyone knows what this thing is. Glazed steel is a forging material that can only be produced on planet Tianhuang. Did he collude with the Demon Wing clan? The Great Demon King asked as he took out a shining forging material from Night Sorrow's pile. Now that Yukuan's matter had been resolved, Lu Qi dismissed everyone. He sighed and carried the wine to the Grand Elder's pocket dimension. What's wrong? Do you think everyone will look at you differently? Do you think you're in cahoots with the Humanitarian League? The Grand Elder asked. I've treasured my entire life. Now it's been ruined by a few bastards. Lu Qi opened the wine jar. Lu Qi, you too. Fine. I'll drink this wine. The Grand Elder shook his head. This jar of wine is hard to swallow, so Lu Qi won't drink it himself, Lu Qi said. You're overthinking. The Great Demon King and Lin Piaomiao have long been suspicious of Yukuan. How can they not investigate after killing him? Judging from the way those guys do things, not to mention that Yukuan himself is not clean. Even if he was clean, he would still be covered in shit. The Great Elder said with a smile. That means the Council of Elders will make an announcement about Yukuan's case tomorrow? The Humanitarian League's actions are just this time. And the law enforcers are just enforcing the law? Lu Qi asked in surprise. That's right. There is indeed a problem with Yukuan. There are some things that don't stick to trifles. The Grand Elder looked at Lu Qi and shook his head. He knew that Lu Qi was very principled. Of course, this was also one of the main reasons why he became a discipline elder. Night Sorrow had investigated clearly. The expert of the Demon Wing clan around Yukuan was called Dark Feather. He was sent to the Celestial Realm by the Demon Wing clan. Some information was passed to Yukuan by him, and some things he did not know were orders given to Yukuan by the higher-ups of the Demon Wing clan through the Yin and Yang compass. After investigating clearly, Night Sorrow, Puluo and the Great Demon King carried the unconscious Dark Feather to the Grand Elder's small space world. Grand Elder, Seventh Elder is in a good mood. Looking at the Grand Elder and Seventh Elder drinking, Night Sorrow was taken aback for a moment. Have you arranged the aftermath? Be realistic, the Grand Elder said. This evidence is real, not fabricated. Night Sorrow activated the crystal ball that White Mingming used to explore Dark Feather's memory. After looking at it for a while, the Grand Elder sighed, and Lu Qi's face was also full of anger. This person is the housekeeper of Yukuan. His cultivation base is at the level of the fifth tribulation of the heavenly Tao. Look at the root of his bun. There are scars of broken horns, and traces of broken wings on his back. The Great Demon King said. This Yin and Yang compass should be a tool for the Demon Wing clan to contact Yukuan. This glass steel may be the reward for the Demon Wing clan to ask Yukuan to do something. Night Sorrow put away the glass steel, and did not give it to the Grand Elder and Seventh Elder. Night Sorrow, you are now the captain of the First Army. Not only do you have your own domain, but you are also the leader of the Humanitarian League. Is there a need to be so stingy over a piece of material? Lu Qi said somewhat speechlessly. This is not my own. It is the spoils of war of our Humanitarian League. When we go back, we will divide it, Night Sorrow said. You have done a good job. This matter will be left to the Council of Elders. The Grand Elder was still a little uncomfortable. After all, Yukuan had been in the Council of Elders for a long time. Now that he was proven to be a spy, he was still a little disappointed. Night Sorrow, Puluo, and the Great Demon King left, leaving the captive Dark Feather to the Grand Elder. Lu Qi got up and placed a seal on Dark Feather's Dantian and Spirit Sea. In order to unravel the foundation of Yukuan, it was better for Dark Feather to be alive. The Merit Emperor, the Human Emperor's seal, and the Human Emperor's ceremony, he actually represents the human Tao. There must be a reason for him to not see eye to eye with someone. Even if he doesn't see eye to eye with him, he must not be a good person. The Grand Elder said. Lu Qi did not speak. He already knew that Night Sorrow had the Human Emperor's seal, and the Human Emperor's ceremony's sacred text of Taoism. Look at the path he has taken, it is a legend. Even the previous Human Emperor was not so amazing. It took him tens of thousands of years to become an emperor. But look at him. He is now a 6 stars emperor, and is still in the process of enlightenment. Just thinking about it is scary. The Grand Elder said with some emotion. Grand Elder, the existence of Night Sorrow is not a secret in Tianhuang. If the other party continues to send people to kill him at all costs, it will be troublesome. We have to pay attention to his safety and help cover up his weakness. Lu Qi said. Yes, it is also easy for the Black Dragons to deal with him. So you take 2 elders to the ethereal Imperial City area, and watch over his area of influence. His weakness is that he values friendship. The Grand Elder thought for a moment and made arrangements. Search for Cool Craftsman Net on WeChat, follow the name of the new work, and read the full text. Said, the second update has arrived. I wish all my brothers and sisters a happy Qixi. You're tuning in to the Echoes of the Heart YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.